Hey, hi, how the yeah, I don't have the screen up today. I figured, fuck it, you get a nice, clean look at my wall for today. That's what we will do. Could have taken a few extra minutes to set it up, but you know what? I felt like not doing that. So alas, here we are. Oh, the surprise of no one. I am here, yes. To the pleasant, not surprise. Pleasantly not surprised. Make a static a bit. I wonder if there's something. Let me just. Test 1, 2. Not on my side. Oh. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing anything on mine. And when I go to test it, it's also not doing it anything that I can hear. Is it just the mic? Oh, it's better now? I didn't even do anything. Huh. Wow. Okay. Great. Well, we'll take it. Let's see what happens. Let's see if it comes back and or if it persists. Well, now I know I have more Spacers episodes. Oh, right. Not that many more, but I know I have a couple more. Let's just organize my footage while we're here. So tired. It's been a great week, but we have been on the road. It was 8 hours on the road on Friday, broken up with a musical concert in the middle. And then yesterday it was 3 hours driving to get to Edmonton, and then today it was 5 hours driving to get here. So it's little tired. Just a little bit. Just a smack roll of tired. Yeah, no, there's people that I work with that are just like, you breathe too loud. I'm like, I don't. You just don't want me around. But that's a weird way to say it. Interesting. I mean, I could try and reset some stuff. You know what? Let me try something here. It's gonna sound bad. I apologize. Okay, good. And is it back? Going once, going twice. Well, I haven't pushed play on anything yet, so you probably won't hear anything but my voice yet because I have not started doing anything. It's interesting. Not to sound like I'm being mean, just, you know. Haven't done it yet. All right. Track 1. Yeah. So am I back now? And then we'll also see if the crunchiness is back. Hopefully it's not. 5. It's good again. Tried and true, baby. Turn it off and on again. Works every time. 67 or 6% of the time, it works every time. Look at that. Nice, clean conversation at the beginning.
So, welcome back. I'm trying to squeeze this one in so we can.
Great. No static? Yo, that's what happens when we reboot shit. Turn on and off again. Who dat? I'm gonna find out if we need to make any changes there. I'm gonna take these. We're gonna go up. Oh no.
Who's the new cat?
Diantha and Cliptic look like a different kind of exhausted, like they've been throwing up all evening.
Sweet. That ideally fixes that. Boop. Back here, I mean, there's some video game weapons. Those are weapons from Destiny. Yeah. Most of that's just pirate stuff. Pirate deck. There's 3 blue eyes white dragons and a plaque over there, but I think there's some glare on it, so you can't really see it, but yeah, that's like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon shelf. That's like some pirate goodness, some books, and then some Destiny weapons. I'm a nerd. Also, apologies if I'm a little lethargic today. Like I said, it has been a long day. I just need like a day to just sleep and recover. Past week has been great. Past week was awesome.
Ooh. Welcome back. I'm trying to squeeze this one in so we can keep with everybody's schedules.
Yay!
We're going to pick up the next morning. You are in flight. You're in hyperspace.
We're going to start with going here. Boop. Pop. Bobby Yaga, did you come in here just to start a fight? You come here just to stir up shit? Did you say Pokemon better than Digimon? Get the fuck out of my chat. How dare you? How dare you? Monstrous. Monstrous. We don't accept rhetoric such as that here. Digimon is vastly superior. We'll fucking fight about it. We'll fight about it. Not to say I don't like Pokemon. Pokemon's great, but let's be honest. As soon as Pokemon started digivolving, we all know who should have won that fight, right? In order to stay fresh, Pokemon added in Digivolutions. They called them Mega Evolutions, but you and I both know what those are. Also, Pokemon games have been more or less the same. The mainstream Pokemon games, it's fun when they try new things, have more or less been the same since the late 90s, since they started. If you could explain to me the logic behind a cat becoming a big titted angel woman, I cannot, and I do not wish to. I don't need to. It is glorious. It's glorious. Hey, there are some, I mean, most of the Pokemon evolutions do somewhat make sense. Some don't, but they do. And no, I cannot explain to you how that makes sense. A cute little cat turning into big titty angel woman. I cannot. And that is what makes it glorious. You don't know what you're going to get. No, OG Pokemon's the best. Yeah, so like lately Pokemon has just kind of become, I don't know, it's basically Digimon now, right? Like all their tactics and tips and tricks like that would be very good if it was Digimon, right? And also the Digimon, or the Pokemon games since the 90s haven't really changed. They are more or less the same. Whereas every single time a Digimon game comes out, it is so vastly different. And the other thing to know about Digimon is the older that franchise got, the better it got. So like the OG series, it was good right out the gate because it was touching on topics that like Pokemon didn't dare touch, right? In my opinion. And then it got better later because in Digimon, they got stuck in this train of thought that you had to have one line of evolutions for a monster, which is how you got from cat to big titty angel woman, which is like, that doesn't make any sense. But now the way that they do it is technically if you train your Digimon a certain way, you have access to all of them. So Agumon does not just become Greymon anymore. He can actually become any of these certain kinds of monsters if you train it right, because it's just rewriting the data and you just change them around. So like they redid the original series and all of them can turn into a bunch of different monsters, which I think makes more sense. But it also ties more into how the games work. So the games fundamentally are different than the show, and now they're kind of like coalescing everything in this current year of their media blitz. So I would rather have monsters in my pocket versus monsters that are digital. How are those monsters in your pocket, buddy? It was Digimon that is like the head of a dude who throws literal poop. Yes, because, fun fact, Digimon was originally meant to be a Tamagotchi aimed towards boys. It was they were afraid that dudes wouldn't like Tamagotchis, so they made Digimon. And then they realized that nobody really gives a shit. Everybody buys everything, so they just made it its own thing. But it's poop because you have to clean up poop. Like, poop is a significant function of the original Digimon games, which were just Tamagotchis. Just saying.
You are in flight. You're in hyperspace.
I'm gay. I wear cargo pants. I can fit anything in my pockets. Brother, I've been there. I'm still there. I get you. I understand you completely, implicitly, 100%. They still fit in your pocket via a digital device. Even if they're OG, they're Game Boy, right? Digital monsters. Just saying. For the Pokemon games, you don't need to retrain, re-level your Pokemon 30 times through a playthrough if you keep the same team. See, I actually like that system. The idea that I like it a lot, because what it means is that if you train hard enough, regardless of the level of the monster, well, I guess you can do this in Pokemon as well, right? But I like the idea that there is a level of customization to how you train the monsters. It takes away, now, if you are huge into IV/EV leveling in Pokemon, Pokemon wins, right? Because it has a more intuitive, or not intuitive, but more in-depth system if you're trying to like get the perfect score for the perfect team. But Digimon, you can max out your character's stats by what do they call it? I think it's an A word. Just by aptitude training, right? So by aptitude training your Digimon, by having the monster that you have acquired, you can raise it and de-raise it enough times to basically reset its IVs and EVs without having to do that stupid breeding mechanic. I think the IV/EV system in Pokemon is just way too ridiculous, especially since you can't track it, except in the newer games they've added more systems for you to do it. But like, if you're really training your monsters and like you're trying to get the perfect team, where you're trying to crossbreed monsters in the nursery, and then you're trying to get those max IV/EVs, and then you do that over and over and over again to try and get all your stats up and maxed at an early level, and then you're maxing out your monsters and things like that. Like, if you actually give a shit about that stuff, which is a lot of time and energy, I find the Digimon's better because you just retrain and set up your aptitude, and then you can just do that without having to do all that random mystery stuff. So if you don't touch IV EVs, then fair enough, right? Like it's then a base game. I mean, you get your 6 Pokemon, you just go to the end with the same 6 Pokemon, right? For me, with Digimon, without the IV EV side of things, I basically get the monsters. I figure out which monsters I want at the end, kind of like you do with Pokemon, right? And then you can get those monsters pretty early on. And so there are certain monsters in Digimon that you can't get until the late game. But if you train an early monster early on, you can have that monster way earlier in the game, right? So I think the Digimon system is way better than the Pokemon system. That's me personally. I still like Pokemon, and I have like my perfect team of. Every time I play a new Pokemon game, I try to get the same team of monsters. I have like my go-to OGs, my go-to monsters in Pokemon. I will play every Pokemon game that comes out. I'm excited for ZA because I'm Canadian. Pokemon ZA, I'm very excited for that. Gonna play the shit out of it because I like the style of the Legends games, the way that Arceus set it up, where it's basically Breath of the Wild Pokemon. Oh. Digimon wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Pokemon and Tamagotchi. Pokemon was more original. So here's the ironic bit. Digimon was not made after Pokemon. Its inception was being made around the same time. So it's Tamagotchi. It's basically a masculine Tamagotchi is what its original pitch was. But it came out so close to Pokemon that the IPs legitimately did not know each other when they came out. It's just it's a play on Japanese verbal parlance of digital monster and pocket monster. But for Tamagotchi, 100%. Like, it was meant to be Tamagotchis are for girls, Digimon are for boys, right? That's why they have jeans and guns and boobs, right? Like, that's why. Fucking Baba Yaga just pulling my leg. You don't want to redo the training? I could understand that. Where like you get the monster up, you're like, hey, I want to get to Ultimate, but like you can't get to Piedmon because you have to like reduce your monster back down again and raise it back up. I like it because it matches the show, but anyway, it's me personally. It gives a system, and then your rookie level monsters are better than any wild rookie level monsters you find. There's like an in-universe explanation as to why that makes sense. Anyway, but I do see that how that could seem like you're retreading old ground. I get that. And for nostalgia bait, man, if they were to remake Red and Green again, Red and Blue again, oh, let's go. Hyper ZA, yeah. This is a debate you're always ready for? My God. Your real favorite is Monster Rancher? Where's the monsters for the NBs? A Digimon ended up becoming the fucking queer-coded one. Craziness. I know. Insane. Yeah, technically, Digimon ended up becoming the queer accepting one of the bunch. It was meant for boys, and then the gays took it and ran with it, and it's been great ever since. So much queer shit in the franchise later on. It's fantastic. I love it so much. Oh no, I didn't finish my sentence. I have no issue with Monster Rancher. I remember Monster Rancher being great. You know what I hope makes a comeback, since we're on this topic? I want Metabots to come back. Metabots was dope. I loved Metabots. I was literally talking about this with Rob last week. Like, Monster Rancher was dope. Especially there was that game, because like in the show with Monster Rancher, all the monsters were on discs, and there was a PlayStation 1 game where like you could scan discs, like actual PlayStation 1 discs, and it would give you monsters in the game. It was super dope. I love that. But my God, I want like a robot builder with stats. It's like a robot RPG that's like Metabots. That would be dope as fuck. Personally. Yeah, truly, no issue with Monster Rancher. Monster Rancher was great. What a sassy little one-eyed fuck boy. Britney Spears CD has High Level Monsters on it. Fucking A, it did. Britney's back, bitch. 3 episodes of Digimon, haven't played a single game, so no room to speak. Fair enough. This debate has happened before. Yeah, Toxic X loved Digimon. I'm not remembering this. Yeah. Yeah, that'll definitely taint it. I don't know. This year's Digimon and Aliens and Predator fans and Digimon fans this year are fucking eating good. So like Digimon this year, they're making a new anime. It's coming out in October. A little excited for that. The original movie was redubbed for Blu-ray with the original extended Japanese cuts actually put back in. That's in the mail on its way to me right now, and I'm very excited. The card game got globalized, as well as an app for it is coming out. Great. What else? Oh, the new Digimon Story Time Stranger game comes out in September, and there hasn't been a new one of those in like 10 years. And the last one, Cyber Sleuth, was so fucking good. Yeah, so Digimon fans are eating good. Oh my lord, that new Predator movie, holy fuck. Okay, so check this out. So this year alone for the AVP universe, we got Predator Killer Killers just came out, which was an amazing fucking movie. That is such a good movie. And then later this year, Predator Badlands comes out, which looks absolutely stellar. And then Alien Earth comes out in August. And at first I was worried about it, but all the trailers I'm watching, I'm like, this looks really fucking good. Like, this is one of the biggest budget sci-fi shows I've ever fucking seen. So I'm really excited for Alien Earth. Alien Romulus's successor gets filmed starting in September. And the Alien RPG 2 comes out this September. There was another one. There's something else that was coming out. I mean, because that's not enough for some shit like that. But anyway, there you go. So that's all the Alien Predator stuff, like, just this year alone. Like, and the amount of like world crossover concepts that are in these movies so far is great. I'm kind of here for it. So as a person that likes Digimon, Aliens, and Predator, we're doing pretty good. That Yaosha King with the fucking spinal cords for a cape, what an absolute god tier move. My word. And the little the little cameo at the end there, god, it was good. Little hints to franchise tie-ins afterwards.
You're in hyperspace. You've left the asteroid belt.
Good.
As your ship kind of is warping away into a direction that you have yet.
Now I feel like, have I never set these up before? Oh, they might have been alien tails. I thought they were spinal cords. I thought they were just really long spinal cords. They could have been Xenomorph tails. I didn't even think to look for. It's just the Xenomorph tail has had so many redesigns. It very well could have been a Xenomorph tail, just because of how long they were. But those look very spine column-esque, like with the vertebrae and the ribs. So yeah, could have been Xeno tails too. Doesn't particularly matter one way or the other. It was dope as hell. It was fucking awesome. Absolutely stellar. Oh, I can do this per track. Let's fucking go. So interesting updates for y'all. So last week was hugely what a good week last week. It was fantastic. So we're thinking what we're gonna do. Why is this set up like this? Let me just fix this real quick. I feel like I'm all the way down here, but like. Don't worry, we're fixing this. I'm all the way down here. Hello. Oh, it's because of microphone. Whatever. Greetings. Hi. I can kill you with my brain. What up? Do that. Look at that. Shouldn't be. Let's be open up about it. I mean, fair. I mean, it's worth listening to the info dump on, right?
In case things get bad, you did witness a murder, a double homicide, actually, to be honest, and you've robbed and extorted a couple of people.
Oh, right. Okay, ADHD. So we talked about a few things here, and so Derek and I we're gonna start talking about some of these plans, executing on some of these plans moving forward. We've got a bunch of ideas queued up for some extra content that's going on. You won't start seeing a lot of this stuff until probably the new calendar year, based off of how our timing is going. So, like, does it really affect things? I mean, I guess not. So, one of the things we're going to start doing is YouTube shorts and TikTok shorts, but not just snippets of episodes. I think that's ridiculous. I think if you want that, just go watch the episodes, right? Like we don't want to be marketing on social media for the sake of marketing on social media. That just seems silly. Oh, goodbye, tripod. That's fine. Marketing on social media just for the sake of marketing on social media. Like, if you're going to be on social media, be on social media. Like, if we're going to make content, make content. So what we're going to start doing in the new year, and the reason why it's the new year is because we're going to take the next year to make a bunch of stuff until I get a process figured out, is we're going to start making a bunch of shorts that are all lore videos. So reports that characters have been writing. So backstories on like Agatha and Althea and, you know, the main group. All the good stuff. Monster compendium snippets of what is in Simon's book in regards to the monsters that he's been researching. Those sorts of things. So we're going to start posting those in the new year. There'll be some lore for a new project we're working on that'll start coming out that way, kind of preambling that show coming out, but that one will be scripted. And that one might also have some visuals, not a cartoon, but basically like something that might be like an image or two per episode to kind of like go with the audio. So there's basically, I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. We're going to tell you a little bit more about that. So yeah, there's a sci-fi fantasy that I've been working on with another group of people for a very, very, very long time. Basically, it's fantasy in the sense that it's so far flung in the future that all ancient technology is indistinguishable from magic. That's sort of dystopia, right? It's queer as fuck, unapologetically queer, which is great. It's cyberpunk mixed with steampunk, mixed with old-fashioned medieval mages and mystics and magic. Oh my. So yeah, that one's fun. It's a story of agency where a bunch of people trying to figure out how to, you know, take control of things in a world that seemingly is constantly trying to take control away from them. Stop me if you've heard this one before. So that's that one. I'll be talking a lot more about that one as we get closer to it. I'm looking for grant funding to actually pay some actors to come on board and voice some parts. And if that does work, that one will probably run for about 6 seasons. We want that one to run for a very long time. God knows if there's enough content to support it, so that'll be fun. So when Spacers stops, because Spacers is kind of rapidly getting towards its finale, the thing I'm moving on to after that is that project. So I'll be jumping on that one. Derek is going to be doing some new More of the Call stuff. So all of our shorts videos will be supplementary content for both of those two products. It means it allows me to work on that stuff without taking up any of our recording schedule. So Derek can just record stuff for the call, and then I can record things separately as I pay people to come into the studio and record stuff separately. So that's how we're moving forward. As far as Ko-fi content goes, we kind of rediscussed what it is you want to do with that. And again, in the same vein of marketing, what is the point of us doing this sort of stuff? We're not in it for the money. That's not why we're doing it. Like, it's nice, and you guys are absolute angels and gems for doing it. And so to do stuff just to be like, pay us more and you'll get this extra stuff, seems kind of disingenuous. So as such, we're probably going to be moving these streams back to Discord calls and just not recording them. And letting these, because they're so regular and so consistent. We probably won't really do, like we were talking earlier about, like doing some things that are YouTube live streaming, some things that are Discord calls. Probably just gonna keep it all as Discord calls, because like, really, fuck it, why not? Like okay, if you're not paying, like, you know, it was basically pushed off by a comment somebody made, like, hey, for us people that aren't paying anything, do we get to see any of this stuff? And it's like, oh yeah, we should probably find a way. And then we went, no, fuck it, like respectfully, it's you don't have to pay for any of our stuff. So anything else that we do should go just to people that have chosen to give us money, because you don't have to, right? So yeah, we kind of reevaluated that. It was just like, no, we like socializing with people, with you guys and everyone else that's on Discord there. We like doing the socializing stuff. So like, why change it to be less sociable? It makes no like, we kind of talked about it, and like we kind of put our heads to it and not just kind of said the first thing that came to our minds. That doesn't really make much sense. So yeah, we're gonna be keeping everything, pretty much everything, because to just this, right? In the new year, it might get to a point where hopefully I'm editing episodes like a week in advance. So at least when you're listening to the episodes here through Discord, you'll be getting it a week in advance. No, you won't need to restrain yourselves. Yeah, there is that, right? So my hope is, right now I do these live streams like 2 days before the episode comes out. My hope is that in the new year, when we're doing new Call of Cthulhu stuff, I'll start editing these like a week in advance, so the Sunday before, not the Sunday before, but the Sunday before that one. And so you actually get things a little bit earlier, which I think is kind of nice. But we'll just keep the casual chit chats. Yeah, there you go. That's the update and everything. Feel free to ask whatever questions you'd like. I will answer any and all questions. My hope is to see if I can get Derek in here more. That's really dependent on his work schedule. That's the other thing. It's like, we can't maintain any sort of consistency, so we might as well just say, fuck it, give you what we can when we can. Because why not? And don't worry about it being any additional stress, because that's kind of silly, personally. So yeah. Hey!
Back to the mess hall where Flinch and Greg are looking very exhausted in terms of a lack of sleep.
Questions, comments, concerns. Give me your thoughts.
Deantha and Clipstick look like a different kind of exhausted, like they've been throwing up all evening. Laurel, not a sign of her. You know she's on board. You didn't leave her behind. Absolutely nowhere to be had.
Don't know how to restrain so good. Hey! I'm glad that is positive reactions.
One of the things that he's speaking to, Tim's going to come in like, wow, you all look like shit. He seems none the wiser.
Yeah, all of our extra content is just basically going to be extra content. It's just going to be just chats, just hanging out, just chilling. I mean, really, if we wanted to post behind the scenes content, we'll actually force Derek to write a module based off of his shit and post it. But I mean, that's fine. So yeah, people that aren't paying are going to get a bunch of free lore shit, which is the new thing, and just the shows. So like, everybody else is paying for time to hang out with us.
He seems a little bit stressed out because he's single-handedly been on guard.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing. No comments or concerns. So I might still post vloggies things soon. I'm not sure on that. I'm still thinking about that. But like the very first one is going to be me setting the boundaries as to what comments are going to be, which is I'm not really going to engage with them. I try to avoid engaging with comments in general. Most of the comments we get are nice, don't get me wrong. So, it might take me a few weeks or like a month to get to those responses. But it's like, if you're commenting and you're with the intention to actually talk to us, you're probably in our Discord, right? Most other comments are either bots or negative comments, and fortunately, most of our comments we've gotten are very positive. But it's like, go to Discord, fucking talk to us there, right? And if you're a dick, I'll boot you. It's safer for my mental health, for everybody else's mental health. I don't know.
When you guys
The lore drops are gonna be fun. I'm excited for those.
A prisoner you have on board, or at least someone you have not been able to, you have not really talked about how to deal with this.
I mean, one could say that there is a joke there about that, but it's like,
You've had it on your ship for a day, and that is another krill named Kress. He is currently bound in your medical bay to a gurney and has been unconscious since he aided in killing your escape and killing the matriarch back on her poison planet.
I completely
Oh, I'm well aware. That's what
Here's the thing.
To deal with this other.
It's not different than what you're currently doing, so.
But now you have a few extra days on your side. You got a plan. What you're.
I respect too much to make it. Oh,
your plan
I guess. Thank you. I don't know.
You also have this being that's just with you that you haven't dealt with yet. You all have a headache.
Ugh.
Have fun.
And where's Laurel?
We just got a point, Baba.
No idea.
Know she came on board. She walked past you to the mess hall, probably headed to her room, and locked herself in ever since.
Don't we have a prisoner?
Yes, we do. Where's Laurel?
But what happened to you guys?
Let's think about the plan. What we're doing next. Don't worry about it.
Well, what happened to you?
Oh, did we make enough scratch?
You would have paid. Yeah, you've paid off. You
Yeah.
keep a good relationship with Togepi.
Yay!
Me and Greg just stayed up doing legitimate business things legitimately. And,
I don't think you could spell legitimately if you tried.
Breck is just nodding.
made enough money for the bear. So that way he's paid off. So we did very important things.
God, that coffee is good.
What's happening with you guys? Where's Laurel?
We were celebrating at the restaurant recommended by said
Greckerson, yeah.
Greckerson. And I might have done a thing where I asked for the strongest shot and we drank it. I really have to learn that species are not all the same.
That sounds vaguely racist.
But I need to find Laurel because she, I think, took it a little bit harder than we did.
Really, Laurel?
Well, I don't recall.
She cracked her head on the table as she fell.
You let her go to sleep?
Well, we kind of all fell asleep.
What's your pharmaceutical die?
Oh, that is a good question. My pharmaceutical's D8.
Okay, so after having drank it, you know what you drank.
Oh, what did I drink?
Zavodian rum. Zavodian.
Okay.
Zavodians are a race of undead.
Fuck! This is the second time, isn't it? Or no?
It wasn't the same thing, but
Yeah,
it
pretty
was similar
close.
sort of thing in the sense of it was meant for people not of this world. Yeah.
Okay.
People who
Yeah.
don't have to deal with a constitution.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Fucking Zavodian.
Well,
Oh, hey, that's great.
About a plan, but like we need to take care. We can't be dragging.
I'm glad. I'm glad that this is good news.
So what-
Positive news.
yes, about this.
Great.
This prisoner.
Keep your voice low, God.
You asked me a question.
Yeah. Oh. Go ahead.
Why? Why are you doing
So
this?
tired.
Keep going.
Go ahead. What?
Something about the prisoner.
You interrupted. Okay. The prisoner that we have on board, we should talk to them. Have they woken up yet? Do we know?
Are they-
I can. I probably have been checking in because I know.
Oh, excuse me, thank God.
So I have.
Unless
been
you
checking
tell me otherwise, I assume you've been keeping him sedated so you don't have to deal with it for the time being.
For the time being, yes, but I have been checking his vitals and making sure
He's stable?
He's
Okay,
stable.
let's go wake them, wake him up.
It's not funny, Baba Yaga, but it's whoo! Give me a second. Hang on. Stay right there. Hey, Liz! You want something funny?
Yeah,
Brother.
what's that?
Somebody in space just said, "Oh yeah, it was describing a dead Romulan drink." Yeah, and someone mentioned me a comment. Oh yeah, it's usually alcohol designed for those that don't have a constitution, that don't require a constitution. Bob Yaga's comment in response was, "Yes, Donald Trump doesn't have to deal with the Constitution either."
Oh, snap.
That's some S tier dark humor. It had to be shared with Liz. I thought it was funny.
Let me, and I'm gonna get up, and I'm gonna go.
Like a dark humor kind of way. Yeah, okay, so I watched a bunch of videos in Canada, right? But so I watched it's just that goes to my jokes Liz. Hey, you should, I think you should. Yeah, so it was very funny. We watched some videos today about the whole deal. Hank Green does a very, very angry discussion of how he's feeling about things right now. And there's this young man. Oh, what's his social media video? I'll have to go find it and then share it. But it's tagged to Hank Green's newest video if you go watch that. Where he views, so he talks about how, and he made the video before the weekend, and he talks about how here are the ways that you can win, or here's the checklist of victories that you can come up with given this current circumstance for progressive peoples. And from the sounds of it, this weekend is exactly that, right? Like with the G7 going on as well, it makes it very, very difficult to have a lot of other news going on, which is great. In the sense that the protests, I'm in Canada, right? So I don't know. But the protests seems to have been so peaceful that nothing of note has come out of them. In terms of like oh, this crazy thing happened, somebody ran over a bunch of people, like all that good stuff. And so this young man's video going into detail about what it means to win back the camera and steal the wind out from under the sails of the Republican media circuit is possible given how this weekend has been set up and what people who are protesting can do with it. And it seems like, if I'm understanding his video correctly, the way this weekend has gone fits that bill perfectly. So if this kid is as if the world is goes in the direction that this young man's very intellectual optimism takes him, it all makes sense. Then yeah, this weekend may have actually been way better than people think it was, which is kind of optimistic and really, really, enlightening, which is great. Crazy. Oh, okay. So yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, 100%. Go watch his newest video, where he rants about how mad he is about the situation, and just the way that he's mad about it. It's not the way that you would originally think. It's as he gets into it, it's like, God damn, this guy's got a point. Hank's got a point. And then watch the social media video he had tagged to it, and just know that was posted before this weekend, and it'll make you feel so good about how this weekend went. Yeah, and the fact that there was no actual issues, the fact that the protest agitators did not push further than they did is it's only good news for you guys. It's yeah. Anyway, it's about the best you could turn that around, and that's a win. Take that, and you put it in your cap. I'm so glad you had a good time. And yeah, sorry that you guys are feeling that way. That's bad, right? That's awful. And there's this whole thing. It's just like, and I would also recommend you watch his video because he talks a lot about, where just, anyway, it's not stuff that you guys don't already know. You're fucking in the middle of it. But yeah, that sucks because really the only, as we all know, the only tangible factor that they are going after anybody is this color of their skin, right? The amount of years, because here's the thing. They get mad that immigrant families, right? And I use this because they're not going after immigrants. They're going after non-white Americans. But just to kind of use their rhetoric, it's they're mad that they're going into that these immigrants are not working people. So they go into workplaces to grab them. Or, they're undocumented. They're illegally here. So they go into places where they can get legal paperwork to go get them. It's like, okay, so that's not your problem with them. If that was really what you cared about, then you wouldn't give a shit that they're hardworking and here legally with getting proper paperwork. Like, really? So anyway, that's a... But why am I telling you guys this? This is preaching to the choir, to be frank. Yeah, that's crazy. Like I mean, again,
Like a
choir preaching.
coffee. Is probably one of
Whoa.
Second
You
time?
just take the decanter with you.
Fantastic. Even better.
Actually,
we're-
I'm going to pause you for a
Well,
quick second. I
no.
apologize. I realized I forgot to do something in the last session. Deantha, you get an ability
Ooh.
that I would have done the same thing with the other characters, where you would have been able to attempt this in action. But the encounter did not go the way I'd expected, which was fantastic. So instead, I'm just going to tell you what it is.
Okay.
It
Correct.
is the most complicated of all.
He did say
Is it
this.
talent?
But it's and this is something that I've argued with. So I don't know if I've told you guys this before. I might have. So my parents are like about as conservative as you can get in Canada. Quite conservative. And so I've opted into to try and salvage the relationship in one way, shape, or form. It's like I go in there on a weekly basis and have chats with my mother. To which people are like, why are you doing this to yourself? It's like, well, hear me out. I'll explain why in a sec. But it's one of the main reasons why I do it is it gives me really good insight on how, like, my parents aren't, you have to understand when I say this. You know what? I'm going to start with this. So my parents aren't bad people. They just have bad politics, which one could say, but that's bad people. Yeah, you could say that. But here's what I mean by that. There was a comedian that made a joke. It's bad, but you know what? It explains my point perfectly. Where he's explaining that he has a very conservative friend, but his friend's a good person. And the example he chose to give is they're walking down the street and there's a trans man in front of them. Trans woman in front of them. And she's walking down the street and she's on very high heels and a heel snaps or she trips and she falls in front of a vehicle on the street. And he cracks a joke that he, a very progressive person, the individual telling the joke, he's like, all I did was, oh no, she fell. Meanwhile, my conservative friend got in front of the car and told the car to stop, helped her up, made sure she was okay, sent her on her way, turned back around, looked at the guy and says, that's why men shouldn't wear heels. Which is a horrible thing to say, but he did something, which was an example. Like, it was meant to be a comedy thing. And I kind of went, that's kind of my issue with my parents, right? When I say that, well, my parents are good people. Like, they don't wish ill on anybody. They're just ignorant, right? Like, they don't, and they refuse to understand that their inaction has consequences because they have benefited so much from a lot of things that they take for granted. So I go over there because I like to see where conservatives get their ideology from. Like, what is it about social media that gets into they don't leave the house? How do you get these rhetorics in your mind? Like, how does this idea come to you? And when I give you facts and reality, how do you try to tell me that makes no sense? Like, how do you defend yourselves against reality? And so I get this really interesting perspective into how they're able to shut down facts. And then I use that to help inform myself a bit better, right? So am I using my parents? Yeah, of course I am. They're fucking bad politics, right? And so that's why I go over and I do that. It's to you know, I'm not arguing against conservatism from a point of blissful ignorance. I'm arguing against conservatism from a point of, in my opinion, an informed defense as to how their average goer, their average practitioner thinks. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. I feel like it makes sense. So that's why I go over there when I do these sorts of things. And we were talking about, God, let me reread this. There's a reason why I brought it up. God, I can't remember what it was now. I was just telling that story. It was meant to preamble to justify why I was talking with somebody that had such a radical perspective. But there's something somebody said here. I was like, oh yeah. Take whatever they want, regardless of status. No, can't remember what it was now. Anyway, there you go. Fun fact. Now you know that about me. Yeah. My friend, I have a friend, very gay man. Very, very gay man. Necessary for the point of the story to tell that. And he made a comment. So up here, like the politics up here are not as not as polarized, but still pretty polarized just by their existence. And he made a good point on social media where he's like, our progressive parties might not be very good in terms of how they run business and how they run economies and governance. And our conservative party might be good at it. He goes, but I can't in good faith vote for a conservative. And the conservative party has no intentions of actively going out and demonstratizing marginalized groups, right? Like they're definitely not pro marginalized groups, but they're definitely not. There's nothing in the explicitly in their platform, unlike the Republicans, that say I'm anti these things. But that being said, his main point was, he goes, but there are many Canadians who are anti any of those things, and to vote in the party that they feel represents them gives them carte blanche belief that they are right to continue and further enact their feelings on these groups of people. And so I can't in good faith vote conservative, even if they have no anti-LGBTQ agenda as an LGBTQ person, because their followers will feel like they have a right to be anti-LGBTQ. And I was like, what a good way to put that. Like, what a good, and he put that out there publicly, and like some of my conservative family members liked that and was like, oh, interesting, we never thought of it that way before. I was like, no, you never thought of it that way before, but you never leave your fucking house so you don't see what it's like out there with people being all, anyway. Weird random Canadian politics rant with Zach. Moving on.
It's a talent.
Okay.
So we might tweak this as we go. I'm kind of trying something. So
Sick of my voice yet?
all for one for all. When making a social check alone, you may gain an effect die equal to the highest relevant skill of any of your party members.
Can you repeat that again? Sorry.
So when you make a social check on your own, you may gain a skill of any of your party members.
And we don't need to have the repeat in there.
Prone. When, I guess we could have used this. I just forgot to do it. When with your team, step down any die in your pool. When, I guess we could have used this. I just forgot to do it. When with your team, step down any die in your pool. The bonus die that you get.
Step down your pool.
Step down any dice in your pool, so it'll be the highest, the lowest, doesn't matter.
Yep.
And the bonus die given from a social skill to your allies will be stepped up by 1. What that means that you get.
So just trimming some of this because like there's just a lot of waiting for her to write it down. Like we don't need to have that in there, respectfully. See how this comes out.
An effect die equal to the highest relevant skill of any of your party
Aw, thanks,
members.
Baba.
When with your team, step down any die in your pool. The bonus die that you get to your allies will be stepped up by 1. What that means
Hey, if you're just listening to that, that sounds like a perfect sentence. To not do anything is the same thing as letting bad things happen. Man, 100%, right? Like I completely agree with you. I feel like a lot of the issues we have nowadays is oh, look at old man. I feel like the issue with the kids these days. No, it really is there's some complacency to second generation and up individuals that live in a society where there is a democracy, where there's voting. It is taken for granted how significant voting can be. Interestingly enough, especially when half of the system, thinks your ability to choose is just not responsible, right? Like Republicans seem to have this opinion in the States that people voting just don't truly understand what to do with that vote. So they should be guided on how to vote. So like your vote is something to be, we take it for, a lot of us take it for granted. And half of our politics are okay with us taking it for granted because an informed voter base is a difficult voter base, right? So it's, a lot of that is people need to really understand not only that their votes matter, their actions matter, but that they have power in that, I think is a more important way to think of it, because so many people think their votes don't matter because they think they don't matter. And that's such a disheartening untruth that benefits everything that is out to get you and is so in favor, and is so like they want you to think that way on so many levels, but particularly on a political level. So like, man, no, you everyone matter. You matter. So vote. You matter. So do something, right? You doing a thing has impact, even if it's just to one person immediately to you. It's worth it. And like there is this constant beating down that we do as a society to people that are other or whatever, insert whatever reason here, and it's all the same shit, right? And it's unfortunate. If we can do anything to change people's perspectives on themselves, well, then you're going to do a whole number of beneficial perspectives to society at large, right? Anyway, yeah. What's that quote? There's a quote about this. There's 2 different quotes on this concept. One of there's several quotes about the inaction of good people is no better than the actions of people with evil intentions, right? Like there's no difference between the two, truly no difference at the end of the day. And then the idea of, I forgot the other quote now. ADHD is a fickle bitch. Oh well, whatever. What's my shirt say? It says, I can kill you with my brain. Some Firefly. I can kill you with my brain. There's a pretty big chunk of the younger generation who support Trump. A loud portion of the younger generation, but I wouldn't say significant. Definitely a loud portion of it. That's where your manosphere hooks have dug into a lot of young people, right? So your Jordan Peterson appreciators, your Andrew Tates, your all those folks. But the numbers that I've seen in practicality disagree with that, right? Like when you look at certain followers that spew left or right leaning, whatever verbiage or whatever, you find that there are more people that do follow and listen to more progressive perspectives, but more conservatives act on their perspectives. That's the problem from the numbers that I've seen, right? When doing lots of political science researching, it's like realistically more than half of the people want better, but over half of the lesser half are willing to do something about their horrible opinions. And a lot of it is just there's so much power in ignorance. A lot of conservative people are very, very comfortable and confident in their inadequacies. And if only the rest of us had half of the optimism and self-confidence that these conservative individuals had, the amount of change that could be made is unfathomable. And that's why there's this entire rhetoric behind conservative ideology that is so much about othering and demeaning things that are different, because it creates an innate system of power, and it creates an innate system where somebody who is other than you thinks by proximity that they are not good enough. And it's better that be that way, because they know, at least at an ideological level, that if there's even half the confidence on that side as there is over there, that they would crush them. Really. The only real downside of it is in a fight between a righteous person and someone willing to shoot first, the one who's willing to shoot first will always win. It's an unfortunate reality, and something that's always the constant struggle. How do you combat that? And there's always conversations about that. But at the end of the day, in a theater, like a political theater, like where you fight with your vote, you fight with your social justice, you fight with your comments, your keyboards, whatever. Everyone just needs to be much more confident about who they are, and create spaces around them that create spaces where people can feel confident to be who they are around them, even when the world is like telling you not to. We're forced to look at things at such a macro scale, like through our cities, through our states, through our countries. I find that it makes it so difficult and so disheartening that every time you want to think positively, it's like, oh yeah, but this is happening. And it's true, this is happening. And so I always then just kind of go insulary and go to the nearby and try my best to work with people around, which in and of itself is also difficult. I make it sound like it's easy. It's not. But yeah. But yeah, well, I'm missing comments. I should probably read stuff as I go, as opposed to just monologuing. Yeah, exactly. Right. And sorry, I just read the comment about finding it difficult to vote and then complain about Trump winning the first time. Hang on. Yeah, so many people vote because they think it doesn't matter, and it's like that's why. I watched a video explaining numbers. Like just expressing some numbers about votes, and it's disheartening when you realize the reality of what happened with the second vote. According to the numbers the guy that I was watching have read, maybe these are wrong. I'm willing to. I'm one of the greatest things in the world is to be able to be willing to accept that you could be wrong about a thing. It's my personal stance. So maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe this person was wrong, but going with the information that I have. That was in this context talking about social politics or poli-science was between 2016 and 2020. In 2020, Trump did get more votes than he had in 2016, but more people voted for Biden than had come out to vote for Clinton in 2016. When they did the numbers this time, he had the same number of votes here in 2024 than he did in 2016. So it wasn't that more people voted for Trump, the same number of people voted for Trump, but a significant reduction in Democratic representation was out this particular time, is what this person was reading and saying. So he views it as not a Republican victory, but a Democratic failure. There's an important distinction between the two, even though it's binary in terms of a two-party system. It's inherently bimetric, right? And I was like, it's very, very interesting. And this kind of goes back to y'all's points, which I completely agree with, is this idea that, and this is proof that inaction and self-defeatism is as comparable to, can be as comparable to aiding people with negative intentions. Because imagine if all those people came out and voted. I mean, you think there's people that wanted to vote Trump that just didn't go vote? Crazy. Realistically, that was everybody that wanted to vote for Trump, but so many people didn't because they felt like they didn't matter in some way, shape, or form. So it's crazy that's a thing, right? We get caught up with some of these messages here. I'm falling behind the conversation. No, God, especially with there's a minute-long delay between me saying a thing and then me seeing, between me saying a thing, you seeing it, responding to it, and then me like going in and reading it. One of the other reasons why Discord's gonna be great when we go back to Discord, probably starting next week. Yeah, then complain about Trump. If you don't vote, you don't have the right to complain. This is how I convince people, right? This is how I yell at people. It's just like, if you don't vote, you don't have the right to complain. It's my personal stake. If you really want, yeah, anyway, some people are like, oh, it's so inconvenient. Okay, then don't talk to me. Oh, but I like talking about politics. No, you don't. You didn't vote, so fuck off. And that has, in my circle, convinced a few people to go vote. I know it's petty, but I mean, sometimes you just can't pick the weapons you're given. Only vote for president, but don't do the smaller votes that affect who sits in the House. Laws that pass now just as much. Yes, Baba, you're 100% correct, right? It's not just about the presidential vote. It's about the state vote, state level. It's about the municipal level. It's about everything. Yeah. Check them so it won't fully die off. Yeah, and it'll never go away, right? And that's the downside, is that it truly will never go away. Especially when you consider that the manosphere ideology stems from what was once the dominant perspective in society, and not dominant because it truly was dominant because they beat everybody else up, right? That's dominance through force, not dominance through actual representation, right? So there will always be that perspective will always exist, and so we just laugh at it. That's it. That's all. You inflate, and it's so. And I make it sound like it's so suave. It's so much easier said than done. And I don't want it to feel like I'm like shitting on anybody who's feeling down because of how fucking bad shit is. Because it's bad. There's real tangible results going on here as to how crazy this is all is getting. So it's to shoot it down is disingenuous. So if it sounds like that, that's not my goal. It's just just using the words as they're coming to my mind. It is difficult. But yeah, the craziness that is this. I just keep referring to manosphere because really is a different patriarchy. Manosphere, not all men. Like this whole, sect of dudes that are just like, yeah, I'll get the others out of here, right? Like back to this white Christian nationalist version of what America's supposed to be, which it fucking never was. As a Canadian, even I know American history enough to know that that's never what the fucking country was. That'll never go away. In some way, it will always be there. It's an infection that'll always exist in our society. Yeah, my opinion, I feel like monetization of the election needs to be stopped. Media should be obligated to give equal air to all parties, not just two. Yeah, I 100% agree. I had this perspective when I went down to Texas was it about a year ago? No, I went to Texas a while back. And I had this perspective where, in my opinion, I feel like politics truly got bad when cameras were allowed in the Senate chamber. It sounds weird, but as soon as politics became televised, we ran into a much more exacerbated problem about perception of our politicians than anything else, right? And that stemmed from a perspective that a lot of people comment, like how Marjorie Taylor Greene, as crazy as she fucking is, as soon as you actually talk to her, it's like, oh, I can see how she got here. Like, she's actually competent and reasonable, and then turns face as soon as there's a camera in front of her. And it's like, cameras, here's the thing. And I'm not saying that Marjorie Taylor Greene's a good person or misunderstood. Not the point I'm getting at. The point I'm getting at is how, imagine if the cameras weren't there, there's less incentive to be a turncoat. If that is how you are, because it makes sense. So social lubricant is a thing, right? A lot of people will not say negative shit to someone's face. They'll say it when they're not looking, hence why the anonymity on the internet can be a bad thing, right? Social lubricant is there to not have to deal with the repercussions of your actions. So the idea that there is no outlet for you to let out your inner dark thoughts, and realizing that the social pressures of, man, I like this thing that's actually kind of shitty. no one else is doing it, maybe I won't be the one to jump first into that, right? Like it's there's something to say about that. But yeah, lobbying in and of itself should be banned. But here's the thing: who benefits? The people that get to make that decision. So that's busted, right? In and of itself is a problem. So yeah, the fact that there are people whose entire jobs are to convince politicians to change ideas based off of how much money is coming or going from a place is ridiculous. I had a conversation with my mom about representation. We have what's called a representational democracy here. And I'm like, I don't care if I'm going to vote for a party that is not guaranteed to be the majority or even the minority government here in Canada. I don't care. Because in Canada, you're represented by that person, right? I vote if I'm only 5%, if my ideology is only represented by 5% of the population, then I should only be represented by 5% of the seats in my house, right? That's my personal belief. I shouldn't just win. So what? I'm gonna choose a party I don't agree with just because they're more likely to win? No, fuck it. That's not, in my opinion, how that works, right? But yeah. Representation is it's not about winning, it's about being there for the people that you said you're going to be there for, right? But money always fucks that up. Which was a huge deal which was a huge deal that was brushed off. That was said a while ago, and I don't know what that was in regards to, so I apologize if I missed out on responding to that there, Baba. I also fucking annoyed with them complaining and walked them through the steps they needed to take to vote from the comfort of their own home. Just do the thing. We aren't friends anymore. Good. Fair enough. Yep, that's reasonable. Unrelated to politics, but ugh-hif. Is that just making a sound? Bobby Yaga, I voted via mail during COVID because COVID, and then years later checked the registry. It says what elections I voted for, and it says I never voted during the 2020, even though I mailed it in more than enough times. Crazy. That's nuts. And it's wild, Baba, that like that's your experience that you had there, because when you hear people, again, I preach to the choir. So it's Republicans that are bitching and complaining about how the election was rigged in 2020, and yet I hear more stories about, I assume you were going to vote Democratic. I assume that was the case, given given the options. But yet I hear more often than not that it's Democratic votes that were influenced or affected by any complications in that time, and yet they're just like, oh no, Trump was the one that was hard done by. He's the underdog. I'm like, get fucked. Donald Trump is the underdog. If I hear another fucking idiot say that Donald Trump is the underdog, I'm a smash some shit. Like, what a stupid fucking perspective. Canada's got its own political fucking bullshit too. Like, it's just nuts. We have up here, doesn't really matter. Yeah, I know. You all talk and ask questions. I will if you're still interested in my strange fucking 2 cents about what's going on, then I'll keep going. Oh no, I don't think you're saying anti-mail-in vote at all. No, 100%. I realized it didn't work and instead stopped voting. Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, my apologies if it came across that I was implying that you were anti-mail-in vote. That was not my intention. No, I feel like I was picking up what you were throwing down. Like, oh, this didn't work, so I moved on. I was merely commenting on the fact that it's ironic that it was the 2020 vote that your vote was influenced, that your vote was affected negatively, because that's the one that Republicans say we lost the election. I'm like, bitch, the people who had their votes fucked with the most were the ones that mailed in, which wasn't you. So what are you all bitching about? If anything, okay, fine. If you want to do that, then Biden was the one that was affected most and he won. So yeah, that was the point I was getting at. No, 100%. Oh. Gotcha.
Time you make a plan, it's stepped up by 1.
Okay. Bonus die give us.
That's the easiest way to use it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually a good.
So, yeah, you get a benefit. So basically, if you're by yourself, so thematically, the idea is when you're by yourself, you can still rely on your team's moral support to help you.
Yeah.
And when you're with your team, you actually can produce a better outcome because you're working with them.
Okay.
Neat. That's
As long
cool.
as there's a social skill involved with the check, this can apply.
Can I ask one question?
My apologies. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to give that to you.
No, that's okay. It has been another day. Does that mean another wound is gone?
All wounds go down by 1. Yeah, if you still have wounds, them's go away. If you have any strain, them's are completely gone.
Woot.
Good question.
No. No. Although, man, fuck. When people get me going, I just get going. Liz and I were talking about Canadians like to play the White House of Fire. We do. We do. We've done it twice.
I apologize.
You know, our parliament was burnt down one day, and we moved it. Yours was burnt down, and you built it in the same place twice. But you know, I don't know what to say. The Geneva Conventions, you know, that was just a checklist of what Canadians did in the war, right? Oh, the ILGF was just keyboard special. Gotcha. Right.
None of you heal a wound. If you healed one, put that back. All of you are fucked.
That's true.
Yeah, of course. You know, in Minecraft, right? In Minecraft.
We are pretty.
You either didn't have a full night's sleep, or you are fucking.
Would that be a strain
Poison.
or wound?
It's
What was the big topic that Liz had me on today? Liz had me fucking ranting about something today. What was it? I can't remember what it was. It ended up talking about, there was somebody, I can't remember his name. He's running for a Democratic position somewhere in the States. And he made a post about how his opinion is free healthcare, free education, legitimize all drugs, or was it legalized, or whatever word it was. And I was like, And we talked a lot about our opinions on that, and that got me into an interesting concept. But anyway, that's the TISM talking, and nobody wants to listen to an autistic person talk, so...
all your strain goes away.
Oh,
but
okay. All right.
your wounds don't heal this night because
Okay.
you did not really get a night's sleep.
Oh, fair enough.
Half of you are poisoned, half of you just didn't sleep.
Cool.
Right,
Made
my apologies.
Of what they like to draw when it comes to little ones. Oh, they're some of them, are they?
Apologies.
You did.
The carafe of coffee.
Yep. Gonna see if Laurel's alive. Can we swing by Laurel's before we go down to Crass?
Yeah.
Let's move as a unit. As we're like walking and we're all like leaning into each other.
Passing the carafe along, all of us, just all taking a
Yeah,
sip.
we're passing the. You with Greg?
I would not be drinking from that.
We were poisoned. What could be worse?
Germs.
Very quick answer.
That was a very Dan answer.
Yeah, it's fair.
You know, reach Laurel's door. Bong bong.
There was a video I saw that I think it was a rabbi. He was what a great, I don't know what the question was, but his answer to it was great. And he said, why are we banning any of these hard drugs? He goes, do you think people get into drugs because they like drugs, or is it because there's another problem that the drugs are helping to feel like it's a solution to them, like these things are solving something for them? You shouldn't be banning the drugs. They're just going to find another way to satiate how they're feeling about a problem. You need to be addressing the problem. And so by allowing them the ability to have access to these things, but you can understand how they're doing it, you might be able to reach the reasons. So what is it that's causing you to want these things, right? And so, if you're doing drugs because of suicide ideation, PTSD, depression, things like this, then those are the problems, not the drug use. The drug use is a symptom of a problem, right? That's the issue. And so, a lot of people use drugs and the use of drugs as like a reason to be, well, that's the problem. No, it fucking isn't. That's a symptom. I find that's crazy. Yeah, I know. It's rats in better living conditions didn't take the drug water. Rats in worse conditions did take the drug water. Like, yes,
100%. So here's okay. I have such a weird stance on this. Okay, tell me if this is too crazy. All right, and this is just a personal. Go down the rabbit hole with me, okay? I understand that this is going to start bordering very close on dystopian, but like just hear me out. Personally speaking, we got to be merging in a number of factors. For example, prisons should be rehabilitation centers, not places just to store people to forget about them, right? But of course, when you have a for-profit prison system, it's very difficult to do that. But it should be rehabilitation centers, which means they should also be safe injection sites, right? If you have an addiction going into prison, you should be allowed to maintain the addiction. And it's not maintain the addiction, but be allowed to have access to the resource to begin weaning yourself off of it because you're working towards getting out of it, right? It should not be an ostracized function of society. It should be a place where, cool, well, here's the homeless population. We're talking about bad homeless population. Okay, instead of demonizing criminals, instead of demonizing convicted convicts and demonizing some of them, we'll get to that in a second, and demonizing people that go to prison for crimes that are like, hey, I had marijuana, so I'm in jail for 6 years. Get fucked. That's so stupid, right? A prison, I'm going to call it that because that's the common parlance for it now as it exists, but understand I don't wish it to be this way, should be a place to house the homeless, those that are downtrodden in some way, shape, or form, because a penal system, I use again because of modern parlance, not because I think of it this way, should be a rehabilitation center for whatever that means. Right? If you're the kind of individual that's just, this is the way society works, just does not work for you, but my God, you suffer from extreme lethargy, right? The biggest fear that conservatives have about any socialism, that a socialism or anything close to socialism is the person that lays there and does nothing, right? The lethargic person. Oh, this person deserves the same things that I get because for doing nothing? No, I just don't think that them doing nothing means that they should die for it. There's a difference, right? There's a baseline that exists. Then yeah, rehabilitation centers should be spaces where are safe places for people who cannot function for one way or the other, either because it's been bestowed upon them or for whatever reason they cannot get legs under them in our current society to be able to survive. And if you have no intention of leaving, then you can stay. There's food and board, stay there. Right? There is society that you can work at there. There's all kinds of things that you can do in this hypothetical version of what I'm thinking of, right? Anyway, maybe it's TMI. Maybe that's not even fully thought out idea, but like this idea that prisons are demonized because this is where we put really bad people. But it's like, no, if they're really bad, we should put them elsewhere. But anyway, there's a lot to undig in that. But I just think that just demonizing people just because, they had a bad lot in life for whatever reason is such a wildly hateful concept to me. So feeling generous with them. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that is entirely the problem. Like if there's a place where you could safely bestow these drugs, right? These hey, so we caught you. You were the victim of whatever, right? And you're a heroin addict, let's say. Holy fuck. Okay, well, to kind of wean you off of that, we're going to still allow you to have it here. But, and if you have these safe spaces to do these things, and you know what they do? You know what the government does to like people that hack government institutions? They give them a job, right? So if I catch a drug dealer, I should give him a job. Here, you know what you should do? You should work in a rehabilitation center, right? How do you do this? What are the negative things you put in it? Okay, cool. Take that shit out and just do the good shit and then help them get off of it. And we will give you a job, right? Help us get your customers clean, right? It's crazy, right? I don't know. Like, I'm not saying you're still ultimately in prison, but at least the work you're doing to rehabilitate yourself in society for having created a bunch of hardships on people. You've ruined lives by selling these drugs and putting horrible shit in it. Okay, good. Do better now. You get to help the people that you've wronged to do better. I feel like that's a punishment befitting the crime punishment, right? Doing good by people. How is that a punishment? But anyway, it's just a wild opinion. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. I'm not really thinking it through. I'm just saying it as it comes to my fucking mouth. I don't know. Yeah, you have high incarceration rates. It's crazy because for-profit prisons, man. Question: how many people, man, can someone kill to be considered a good person? Oh, what a morally great question. What a morally great question. God, I don't want to just answer by saying that depends, because I mean there's so many rebuttals to any answer I could give. For example, a soldier, right? Someone whose job is to, defend the country in a time of war, but to do so you have to take lives that make you a bad person. If you're a cop, then there's no limit. Seemingly in the States that would be the answer, yes. But yeah, so does that make you a bad person if you're in war defending like anybody in World War II that was killing Nazis? Are they bad people because of who they were killing? Because they were killing people, right? You can't give a blanket answer to that because in that case, punch a Nazi in the face, right? So yeah, it's an interesting question. I see why you're asking the question. It's a good question. I will not give it a blanket answer, because I believe that the concept of a just a flat answer to that question is reductive. But I understand that's why you're asking the question. I'm trying not to insult. I hope it's not coming across that I'm insulting the question. It's a good question, very, very philosophical in its simplicity. But it's one that cannot be garnered an easy answer, because and to say that it's contextual implies in some way, shape, or form that there is a survivable level of death that's acceptable. And I do fundamentally disagree, but I also understand that we don't live in Fantasyland, that wars happen, right? And I do respect the military and defending our country and things like that, and the sacrifices that have been made in the past for a world that does not have things like Nazism in it, and yet here we are. That sort of thing. So it's a good question. And I respect the intellectualism as it was given, and I hope that my answer does not sound like I'm dismissing the question by not giving you a straight answer. But I love the conversation about it. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I don't know if you've all seen Battlestar Galactica. I couldn't help but think of this weekend, considering the fucking National Guard and situation with you guys this weekend. To give you the answer you expected. Oh, good. I'm not a horrible person. Great. But no, if you ever watch Battlestar Galactica, there's a fucking phenomenal... That whole show is just... If you've never seen Battlestar Galactica, just go watch that show. What an absolute perfect product of science fiction. But there's a quote in that show where, the premise of the series is that humanity is on its last dregs. There's only 50,000 of them left on this flotilla floating through space after 12 of their planets were completely nuked to oblivion. So there is no police anymore. The only police that exists is there is a military vessel that protects the whole fleet. And so the president asks Admiral Adama about, law and order and things like that, and how to govern the people and enforce laws and the rule of law. And he said, you cannot ask me to do that. And she's like, well, why not? You're the military. He goes, yeah, but the police are meant to protect the people, and the military is meant to find enemies. And so when the military functions as a protection of the people, the enemy and the people become one and the same, or something like that. It's basically what the quote is, right? Let me get the full quote, because it's so... Ronald D. Moore, what an absolute gem. He's the writer. Here it is. There's a reason you separate military and the police. One fights the enemies of the state, the other serves and protects the people. When the military becomes both, then the enemies of the state tend to become the people. Like, a phenomenal quote. This is just like one random banger he just spits out in like the first fucking season. So if you haven't seen the show, fix that. Go find a way to watch it. Pirate that shit. I don't advocate, giving NBC money. But if you want to, you can. It's on Peacock. But the whole show is so good and deeply resonates with what is going on in the States right now. It's crazy. That implies good versus evil is black and white, and it's not. There's a gray area for everything, and good is different for different people. Also true. Also 100% true. I got one earlier that boiled down to they're a good person until they kill someone out of spite, anger, because they can. They are killing others to help protect others, then they're a good person. Greater good. That's the slippery slope for killing people because you think they're bad, not out of spite because you genuinely believe it's a good thing to do. That's fair, right? Because the other thing about that is good for who, right? So in Canada, we have a really crazy historical figure. I don't know, and you probably don't, and it's totally cool if you don't understand. Have you ever heard the story of Louis Riel? It would make sense if you haven't. He's a very, very prominently Canadian historical figure. Ooh, Baba, I'm gonna dissect that statement in a second, but I just want to say, do any of you guys here know who Louis Riel is? Nope, sorry. Totally fair. And it makes sense that you wouldn't, right? This is a very, very specifically niche Canadian history thing, but huge in our history. So Louis Riel was a leader, very prominent leader of the Métis, whom are so our relationship in Canada with our First Nations people is very, very, very complicated. And so Métis are specifically indigenous populations that were intermixed with colonials, either French, usually French, typically French. So basically French and indigenous descendants were the Métis. Right, so they were not really accepted by Indigenous for being colonial in creation, but were not accepted by colonial life because they were part of Indigenous. So they kind of had to make their own third classification because neither culture would accept them. So the Métis. So Louis Riel is basically our Guy Fawkes in a way, except on a social, in almost every level, depending on who you are, is rejected. Right? Whereas Guy Fawkes is rejected on a political level, but socially we understand the meaning behind it, right? That's the whole point of Guy Fawkes, is that while he was bad, we get the reasoning why, and we respect the reason why he wanted to do it. No, in Canada, Louis Riel was hung as a traitor. And he was an advocate of rights for the Métis. And he was very loud and was willing to do bad things in defense and representation of the Métis people. Think of any activists of the time. And he was hung for treason. But a prominent percentage of the country, then and now, view him as a hero for him speaking out the way that he did and then being hung as a martyr for having done that. Spoke volumes to the position that the Métis and subsequently Indigenous voices at large afterwards, and French, because they are also in their own rights a minority in our country, are lesser than citizens, because it's not like he was asking for a lot. He was asking for equal rights, right? So it's interesting that this conversation is coming up because it's so factored into our history of what is a greater good, right? So in our opinion, we killed him for the greater good. But was it for the greater good? He was advocating for three marginalized groups that in total make up the majority of the population when you count them all together. Right? So yeah, it's well, I see where Baba Yaga or where we just state was coming from, but Baba's got a point. To justify it using something that can be defined as greater good is not specific. Is close. It's getting closer, but there is concern for that being a slippery slope of not being just defined enough, right? But I see your point. But I see Baba's a defensible point about how it's a little iffy, a little dangerous, right? Because then who determines what is the right side? But I see what you mean by like protecting others is like, how do you, like, what's the harm there? I mean, to play devil's advocate, and I'll devil's advocate everybody, because that's the point of the conversation. Jan Sixers are saying that they're protecting their rights by doing what they did. And so, well, that counts, doesn't it? Also, love how Pete Hegseth got fucking busted, called out, admitting that he believes in double standard. But anyway, that's a different conversation. But I wanted to dig into this real quick. I'll catch back up on these comments in a sec here. I separate the military from police because police is an act of choice. Military targets the poor, and those have no other options. Not to mention the military has many jobs. Target recruitment. They target the poor for recruitment. She's a horrible person. Okay. This person is bad. On the flip, my friend's one was a cop, and he's one of the few men I trust. There are exceptions to my views for sure, but overall, I'm like to support bad military personnel than I am a cop. It's an interesting perspective. I see where you're coming from with it, right? God, that one's tough because you all good points, and even the fact that you're willing to like acknowledge where your own points get like the exemptions to your own points that bring in the doubt as to whether or not what that is a really good thing to put in there. Like what a great self-analysis you got in there, Baba. Great. Murder in general. Someone with a child that was supposed to killing their abuser. Because to be variables. Yeah, my interest in the particular answer was because it was the first clear answer towards the question I'd ever gotten. Everyone else sort of danced around the question. It's a hard question to answer. I love hard questions. I love answering hard questions because if you're not willing to answer the hard question, it means you're not willing to think about it. Right? I don't know is a better answer than dodging the question. Right? But at least fucking think about it. That's my answer. That's my opinion. But I want to hit Baba Yaga's point about police and military too, right? Because and I understand that every country's a little bit different. Yeah, that's tough because you could choose to be in the military, you could choose to be in the police, but military, when they really need people, they will conscript and they will target the impoverished and less than privileged people to be in their members and in their ranks. I think in that regard, it comes down to a level of culture that exists, right? I think that a societal level of awareness of the military should be akin to that of the respect of guns. And here's what I mean by this. The military is and should be a weapon. That's the point of it, right? The point of military is to be that, to use the horrible, but I mean the point being made, Colonel Jessup monologue from A Few Good Men, written by Andy Sorkin, is the guy on the wall with the gun, right? Back to the analogy I gave earlier, in my opinion, back to the analogy I gave earlier, in the combat of the righteous man or the righteous person and the person with the gun, the person willing to pull the trigger first is the person that wins. And the righteous person is usually the one willing to shoot second because they wanted to listen first, right? So the problem with that is that no matter how righteous or intellectual or bettering of ourselves we become, until the world reaches that level, there will always be somebody that is after that. And so there's always an enemy, quote unquote, for lack of a better term. So there's always a need to defend oneself, right? Like if you, it's the whole all men are bad conversation, right? It's like, well, no, obviously not, but you can't risk it. Even if one of those fuckers does something bad, you got to defend yourself somehow, right? As deplorable as it may be and as unfortunate as it may be. And so it really brings up the conversation that, in my opinion, the military has to be, in its inception, a weapon, right? A weapon that you don't want to use. You shouldn't want to use it. But this is what I mean by the societal relationship, like us as a culture and our relationship with the military should be that of weapons, in the sense of America has a really bad relationship with guns. But here in Canada, as an example, we respect for the weapons that we have access to. We have regulations on them, right? You respect the weapon. There is not a reverence, but in terms of the fact that this weapon can take a life, you respect the weapon. And as a culture, we should respect what the military should have and not revere it. There's a very fine line, a very fine difference. I find that as a culture, and when I say culture, I mean like, look at how much money the government spends on the military. There is a reverence that exists for the military, an expectation that exists, and that is unhealthy, in my personal opinion. But people conflate the two. Oh, so you don't like the military? Not what I said, right? And that's, you know, that becomes a tough conversation. The police should not be a weapon. That's the enemy of the Satan people thing, right? Any police service that is getting used military equipment doesn't intend to protect people, right? The movie Jarhead was what an interesting movie the movie Jarhead was, because it talked about how military are trained with the intent to use a weapon, and you sit there for 6 years, you don't use the weapon, you get stressed, you're like, I have to shoot something, so you shoot the air, right? Like, yeah, you're intentionally riling these people up. The military should be the complete opposite of that. The military should entirely be, or sorry, the police should be the complete opposite of that. The police should be trained to de-escalate shit. I mean, I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir again here, but it's like, you shouldn't want to use your weapons, so we probably shouldn't have lethal weapons then, should we? Right? If a police officer, under no circumstances, can be judge, jury, and executioner, because this is not the fucking world of Judge Dredd, then they shouldn't have the weapons or the tools that enable them to be judge, jury, and executioner. Right? It's a personal opinion. It's oh, well, they have to defend themselves against other violent things. It's like, some of the suppressive tools that we have are fucking on par. Come on. It's ridiculous. What an argument. But yeah, that's my personal stance. Like, the theology behind the military and the police is the military is a weapon that you don't want to use, but should be in the headspace with the intent to use. And the police should not be seen as a weapon at all. And we train them the way we train our military, where, hey, here's a weapon with no intent to use. Get the fuck out of here. Right? Anyway, I think there's more complexity in that, but I'm missing so many questions. I should go back to the comments. Oh, I'm not too far behind. That's good. It's very much an American lens, especially right now. Cops are checked for health accountable attack civilians. 100%. Oh, it's a very touchy. It's a very not on brand, but a very topical topic. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe a little bit. It's fine. Whatever. I'll get it done at some point. Yeah, I 100% agree with you, Bubba. Actually, I saw an interview with Muhammad Ali. I think it was last night. It came up in my feed where Muhammad Ali was asked about, why do you hate white people? And he's like, I don't hate white people. He's like, I don't hate white people at all. He's like, but when you got, let's use snakes. Let's use snakes as an analogy. If I got 10,000 snakes coming at my door, and I know that under no circumstances, about 1,000 of those snakes, that's a lot of snakes, about 1,000 of them would do no harm for me. Am I going to just leave my door open and just hope that those 1,000 snakes fend off the other 9,000? No, that's ridiculous. And all I need is one bite from one of those 9,000 other snakes to end me. I'm going to just close the door and say, fuck it, deal with it. And I was like, it's a good analogy, right? Because again, and this is the argument that I have with my parents too, about, well, which I said at the end of the day, if you're ever going to argue with me about ideology, understand that there's a level of, don't even fucking start with me. You should probably use your brain at before talking to me if you're disappointed in my responses, mom and dad, that you should understand that at the end of the day, I will always lean progressive than conservative for this very fact alone. At its most extreme, progressive ideology can feel oppressive, can feel suppressive, can feel tight and constrained. And in action, let's just use the George Floyd protests. The most extreme is looting and rioting. Let's just say that is the absolute fucking extreme. The most extreme for conservatism is genocide. I only need one motherfucker with an itchy trigger finger and a nuke to hit a button, and that happens. It doesn't matter if that extremism is 1% or 1/100th of a percent. If one person enacts their preferred outcome of an extreme perspective, that's millions dead. Whereas if 1/100th percent of an extreme on this side steals an iPhone, I think that the binary is a little skewed morally to one side than the other. Right? That's my personal stance of like how I will always start from a progressive lens and then move over to, and then I'll listen to the conservative talking points, but it's like realistically at the end of the day, like if there's only two choices, I'm gonna go with the ones that aren't going to feel empowered to be Nazis, right? Like even if the person who leads the Conservative Party is not a Nazi, not what I'm saying about the states, is not a Nazi. The fact that what my friend said earlier when he posted was that the Nazis would feel empowered if they're in there, that's enough to not vote for them. Right? There's a song quote that's like, not all cops bad, not all cops good, but when good cops turn blind eye to bad cops, then all cops bad. Not exact quote, but yeah. And yeah, 100%. Right? Doing nothing is exactly the same as doing the bad thing. 100%. Yeah, and that's exactly it. Right? It's the and even if 100% of those who got in there with good intentions do something about it, which is a wild perspective. But let's just assume that's the case. It's still not the societal standard, right? Here's a this is going to sound like I'm way out of left field, but just follow me on this journey for a quick second, because I think this kind of explains my point about societal pressure. So in the 90s, ratings on movies mattered. Like they had been legalized for a while there, but we legally rated movies. Rated R, you could not see a rated R movie or an 18A movie if you were under the age of 18 or without supervision, whatever. Right? Like ratings were legally enforced. MPAA ratings across the whole continent. Video game ratings were not. We've never regulated the ratings of video games. So if it was rated M, the store took it upon itself to make a policy to not sell the game to underage people. But they legally could not say no if a parent came in and said sell it to them anyway. Right? There's nothing you could do to enforce it, except for just have a store policy. But it was much more common then that if a parent bought their kid a game that was violent, it would be not guaranteed and not always, but it was more likely that it was frowned. Like, what the fuck would you buy your kid that? Right? Like your Mortal Kombat, your GTAs for your under 10-year-olds. Right? Whereas now, there is no social pressure about that because everyone's talking about it, so you go get the thing. Perfect sense of this whole stream. Yeah, it's about right, isn't it? Fuck me. I'm like, what, I'm 10 minutes into my 60-minute fucking episode, and I'm an hour and a half into this, just 2 hours into the stream. Fuck me. Anyway, yeah, so that's what I mean about like social pressures. So like, it doesn't matter if 100% of the 10% of good people will do something, if it is still a societal outlier to do the right thing, and there is no, societal disdain towards someone doing the wrong thing, then there's no point. It's nonsensical to just lean into there are some good people. Yeah, sure. But what happens if the bad person does a bad thing? Do you just shake your head and that's supposed to be enough to detract them from ever doing it again? Get fucked. They just need to do the bad thing the one time. Anyway. I think at the end of the day, I can safely say that we all agree.
Bong bong.
Bong bong.
Sounds like she's
And you hear a slamming sound after the broom.
Sounds like she's alive.
That was a good sound. Baba, no! No, if anything you should take from this chat is what I was saying earlier, is that everyone matters, and the world is lesser off for someone like you to not be there making your point known. Be loud, proud, and obnoxious, because that's what does more than not being there saying anything. To yeet yourself from the conversation is to rob everybody, including yourself, but everybody else from hearing what you got to say. And the reason, one of the things that definitely has not helped in the vision of what's going on here is the fact that people aren't saying anything. So if anything, how dare Montfrere? Stick around. Be loud. Be proud. Be gay. Do crime. Eat hot chip. That's the takeaway. Do I have a metal crash? Ah, balls. Do I just have metal? That's just creepy. I don't want that. So Laurel sleeps in chains? Right? BK do crime more like it crime to BK? Not the takeaway, but I see your point.
Is alive. Sounds like she's
And you hear a
alive.
slamming sound after the broom.
Well, let's just crank that up, shall we?
Sounds like she's
And you hear a
alive.
slamming sound after the broom.
Sounds like she's alive.
I need to visually check. And I open up the door.
She's face down.
Door. See? That sure gets it. Also, Cobra chickens, Canadian geese, absolute monstrosities. We love them. Someone pretending to have DID? Oh, sweet Jesus. Trauma is pretty deep-seated and obviously still exists. Is it ableist of me to have trauma response to people who say they have DID diagnosed or otherwise? No. Here's my guaranteed stance and my true and hard thoughts on this. Not just this specifically, but like just generally this idea. Everybody's feelings are valid. Not everyone's actions are valid. Okay? A trauma response is a feeling, is a guttural, instinctual reaction to something. And even if it's a matter of just like, oh, I get this feeling, and then you process it and then don't act on it, that's still fine, right? If it's I react this way and then I go, oh, okay, well, no, it might be real for this person, right? Then it's fine, right? You should not be guilted or shamed because someone has ruined something for you. It's not your fault, right? You now have a built-in fight or flight response to something that was not your choice, right? So the ex told me, and I know I got really angry at them when they tried to tell me I was, but I never really asked other people what they thought. Yeah, it's difference between. Here's the other thing. One of the things that we do that's often very, very reductive because society tells us to do is tells us to guilt ourselves for how we think and feel, and we shouldn't. We should only guilt ourselves upon which we act. And even then, guilt is not really the right term, but if you're going to guilt yourself about something, it should be how you act, not how you think or feel. Because you need to give yourself grace about how you feel about things, because how you feel is not you, right? How you feel about a thing is what someone else has told you or what someone else has done. It gives more credibility to the thoughts of the first instinct is what society has taught you. Your second instinct is what you do, is what you've taught yourself, right? So how you feel about a thing, I say you should never guilt yourself over because that's what someone else has done to you, whether it be good or bad, right? It's what how you process and what you do with that action that comes from it, right? That's the bad. And in terms of guilting oneself for your actions, I wouldn't even go that far as to say that. I would say that it's always, I am very much the proponent of always forgive, never forget. That's always my stance on things. You always forgive, because to hate is too much energy. Even to hate yourself, it's just too much energy. It's too much work. It's fucking bullshit. You got enough bullshit going on. Why would you add more to that plate? It's ridiculous. But always remember, never forget, because that's how you do better next time. Or that's how you can suss out truth from lies. That's how you can determine intent versus mistake, right? That's why you never forget shit, but always forgive shit. Because life's already hard enough. Why make it harder, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Bob, right here, exactly. Yeah, the first thought in your head is how you were conditioned to think. The second thought is who you are. So you can't help what you think at first, but you can help how you react it. 100% that. Completely agree. So trauma response? Fucking no. That's called self-defense. Someone gave you that. Not your fault. But if you told everybody with DID to go fuck themselves, well, maybe don't do that, right? Let's gonna think that one through a bit. Not saying that's what you're doing, but like, my point, right? Don't guilt yourself for whenever someone that crops up and that fear, that PTSD, for lack of a better term, comes in, right? That's your body trying to defend itself. You're allowed to defend yourself. But due to brain damage, I forget everything. Well, here's the thing. There are also certain things that you, depending on the severity of circumstances, don't forgive either, right? But you should always forgive yourself about things. If you can't forgive others, and I'm not the one to judge how we understand what's been done to us, right? I'm not that kind of a judge, and I like to. It's probably realistic to acknowledge that I've got some kind of significant level of privilege in that factor, but I could personally speak with assurance that you should always forgive yourself at the very least, right? And you know what? Again, that's trauma response. You know what you could do with that? Tell them. And tell them why, right? If it's, so let's say I start dating somebody, right? Let's say I start dating somebody who has DID, and I'm in your shoes, and I'm just going to go with like the extreme here, right? Because, extremes are a good way to suss out actions that you could scale up and down. And I was in the same shoes as you, where someone with DID really fucked me up and lied about it, right? Just tell them, right? Hey, thank you so much for telling me you have this. I just need to be upfront with you that someone has lied to me about this in the past. What are some, can we discuss communication methods to establish, when I'm doing this, understand what it means when I do this? And can you give me some things that I can understand that you're not doing that, right? Communication tactics. Deal with that comment. Yeah, it's tough, right? It's also, criticism that doesn't come with any assistance is just criticism, right? Nothing constructive about it. But yeah, no, just discuss it with them, right? If you care about the person and you tell them this, what are they going to do? Get mad at you because someone took advantage of their illness and damaged you for it? No, if a person's got DID and they tell you, and you tell them that, and they're a good-hearted person, and you tell them, hey, somebody who claims to have DID, fucking made me feel this way, they're more than likely not going to hate you for it if you're being upfront about it and are willing to put in, like, hey, I wish to not think of you as a liar. Can we talk about, communication strategies to help both of us understand this, right? Like, if I do this, please don't be upset about it. That's me processing it, right? Who in their right mind is going to be mad about that, right? And if they are mad about it, that's something for them to work on. You're putting in the effort. That's fine. And you shouldn't feel guilted doing it.
Down on the ground, and the slamming sound you heard was her trying to reach for the bed and missing.
I'm gonna go up to your face.
She has like one arm on the bed.
I'm gonna start petting Laurel
Mm.
on the head. I've got coffee.
I think I'm dead.
Not yet.
Why not?
That sounds like a threat.
Yeah, that's fair, right?
Why not?
And I'm sure that any of the men that you are that you're very, very close with also know this. or at least know enough about it to know that it's not a personal thing.
We still got more stuff we have to do before that happens. And I'm just gonna give you the crap of coffee. We got it.
Good. Yeah, and if they ever come out and say, "Hey, I feel like you're guilting me for what this other person did," talk to them about the specifics about that. Okay, my apologies. So what is it that I'm doing that is specifically? So how did I make you feel like that just now? This, that, the other thing. Okay, if I do this. Okay, have you ever watched Ted Lasso before? The concept of Oklahoma in Ted Lasso, where a safe word that's introduced to be like cool, and in Ted Lasso, the way that this technique is used is, Ted doesn't want to burden anybody, so he's always happy and jovial. And so we talked about how a therapist of his told him about this idea called Oklahoma, where someone would ask him, so this person's kind of a dick, eh? And he'd go, oh well, no, they're just doing what they think is best. Oklahoma, which was reference to a show that he had watched that he felt like he could be really honest about. And it was saying, be openly and honest. And this is me telling you that I will not judge what you say next. And it's him just being like, oh no, that person's a total douchebag. Okay, gotcha. Right? And it's an agreement. That word means that when I use this word, I'm saying be honest, but I'm also telling you that I am prepared to not judge the next thing that you say. Right? The other thing about those safe words is not to let people abuse them and use them in the sense of, hey, if I use this, you do a thing. No. If you use that word, I do this, you do that. Right? Like it's supposed to be a give and take thing. So just keep in mind the importance of those sorts of things where if somebody just call you out on a thing, discuss the specifics of that thing and come up with a word that you or them can use to instigate an update of if it's hey, so the next time I do this, can you just say this? And then you can go, oh, is that what this was? And they'll go, mm-hmm. But it's an agreement that I'm going to say it to let you know, don't judge yourself. I'm not judging you, but I've caught it, and this just happened, and I'm open to discussing it if you would like to, without judgment. Right? Could be a good way to go forward if you find that comment comes up often enough with this friend who feels unfairly judged. Let's say, for lack of a better term, I don't know. It works. That's right. I'm not a man. I'm a fucking... One of the best compliments I ever got was I went to a drag show. And I usually wear a vest. And the queen that was up there being an absolute goddess was just like, who here's a straight passing couple? And Liz and I put our hands up. And she was like, get the fuck out of here. That's not straight passing. That bitch over there is every lesbian on a Sunday morning with that vest on. I was like, what the greatest compliment I ever received. Actually, I was just walking down the street in Edmonton this morning before coming back, and some woman up on a balcony. It was myself, Rob, and Liz. So Liz kind of dresses like a dude, right? But is a woman. You can tell, long hair. Rob, trans man, right? And then me. But I was like dressed with like a shawl and things like that. And so she's just like, hey girl, you look fantastic. Like catcalling, but like in a positive way, right? So I thought she meant Liz. And so Liz was just like, oh yay, thank you. And she's like, no, not you, bitch. The one in the back, that queen back, that looks fantastic. And I was like, me? Oh. And she was like, yeah, you, bitch. Well done. And I was like, that's greatest. I love that shit. Anyway, random aside. But yeah. I don't count.
Now, hon, let's go.
I can't drink it when I'm lying down.
You can get up.
I ain't a man. I'm something else. Fuck it.
Takes a
I just happen to have facial hair.
Pull of Laurel's arms and just.
Grex in the back holding up her tail.
It takes all four of you to get her to a...
He was my favorite lesbian. Lesbian? That just means she likes what I like. It's very funny. I mean, that's a compliment. And it should be taken as such, to be frank. This is a new thing to me. What is the new thing? Ouija, you say this is a new thing to me.
Perfect.
What is?
Here, have
Curious.
There, come. I drink the entire craft.
yeah, of course.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Little body, big body, it's fine.
I'll go make more.
We're
And
gonna
I sort of like fall forward.
Bonk. The Oklahoma
How
thing.
about we just get Laura?
It's a fantastic communication tactic, and you can use it. You can use it for anything. Like the show intends to use it as a concept of open communication. But it's like, no, tell me the truth, right? And I won't judge you. But you can use it for everything. It's how I've made polyamory work for as long as I fucking have. It's just communication. That's all it is. It's relationships on hard mode, right? If you're cool talking about things, don't be judgmental. That's hard to do, but it takes a lot of practice and self-reflection. But you can't practice and self-reflect if you don't do it, right?
We're doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
have
mean, let's be honest. I think Laurel needs some rest.
fair.
Or it might just be that
I need to
we
go
both
to
have good
medical
style.
anyway because the poultice I have on this. Because I have 4
why does gender gotta come into it, baby?
wounds still. Poultice I have on this.
I realized that considering that I was talking about a gender conversation, that may not have been the best prefix to put on that sentence. But understand I did not mean it in a gendered context.
Is,
Poultice. Who put the poultice on?
When you lift the bandage, there's it's like sticky.
yeah. I just put
Yeah,
the grenadine
it's
in
hot as
the
balls in this room. I fucking hate it.
and like put it on there.
I'm sweating bullets.
Grenadine is what's holding
Oh.
it together.
Looks like grenadine, but it is not.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, we need to go to medic anyway, I guess.
Yeah.
And you still have wounds, don't you?
Just
That's still wounds. I think we all should probably go down to the medic and get
can I make
repatched.
more coffee first?
You do that, but you come meet us in medic. Cool.
Are you okay? You're little.
How dare you gender my context?
You're little too.
I'm so
We're
sorry.
all little in comparison. I'll go with Laurel. You guys go to the med bay and we'll make sure we all meet up.
All right.
And as you 3 leave the med bay and leave Flinch,
That's a very good point, Weege. That's a very good point. We're gonna keep these deep dives going, and you know what?
By yourself,
Here
you
for
turn
it.
around. Okay, now how do I do that?
She does slowly like
Can
start
you
to.
can you crawl?
I'm gonna get up, and she like uses the wall to like pull herself up, and so she.
The walls are your friend.
Scratch marks all over calls.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Fine.
Meanwhile, Diantha, Greg, and Uptick, you are outside medical, knowing that inside on the gurney there is another insectoid. So, before you on in, do you say anything we're going on in, or do you just head right on in?
There is no amount of preparedness for Cliptic at this point. It's just gonna have to be wake up and see what happens. So unfortunately.
Go on in. He's in a chemically induced sleep, so you'll have to wake him up.
Yep.
Do you want to heal Greg first, just to procrastinate it?
No, I'd rather get this over and done with. He's fine with his grenadine patch.
I can start on my own new poultice while
Yeah.
this interaction's happening.
So,
Roll me a medical check.
You do have medical.
yep.
That's
Surprise.
true.
Sort of.
The only issue is because you're doing it to yourself, I have to roll a thing that adds a difficulty onto this. So your health is at what, 4?
Yes. And I have 4 wound.
I rolled a 1, so it's just 4.
Okay.
Your difficulty is 4. So while he gets his dice pulled together,
My dice pool is 2d6.
roll it. Well, I know the d6 where you're in the medical bay.
Oh, right.
Just toss that real quick just to see.
That is 5d6.
Heal the wound.
Yay.
You put on clean bandages.
I want to get something like an Advil
So backwards for.
and Diantha, and I'm going to use the thing that's called one for you and one for me.
What a brilliant use of that ability.
Yeah.
Absolutely roll it. What's your current complication then?
My complication
Yeah.
is
Both are d6s?
yeah.
Can you make 76?
76. Okay, so then that would be 11 d8.
Post that silly monochromatic thingy in the Discord? Sure.
You're gonna start feeling the effect.
Why does that keep doing that every time? Oh, it's because I came across this. That's why. Oh, that's interesting. That sucks.
Go away. Complications are gone.
Complications are
For you too.
We just
Laurel's still dying.
We just
Yeah.
need sleep.
Do I still have headache as my thing?
Oh, the matriarch headache.
Yeah, it was a matriarch headache.
I should have just made that worse, but now I can get rid of it.
Okay.
Forget it. Get rid of it.
Okay.
Okay. There he
Cool. Yeah, well, I'm going to wake him up. Yep. Basically.
is. And he slowly starts to come to and wake up.
I'm going to very obviously, with my body moves, kind of go behind, not behind you, but definitely you're in the foreground of him waking up, because I just don't know how to start that conversation.
Great. Awesome. I'm so friendly about this. supposed to be
Flip
nice?
bedside manner.
Am I supposed to be nice to him?
He did help us escape.
Okay.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, we got a 50-50 on this right now, I think.
I have some personal history with
You
him,
do.
but I'll lay that.
That's why
Later.
that's why we're here as needy people.
And as you're talking, you just start.
I'm gonna go shower. I don't have a good track record.
Considering-
Come back. The stream's still going. I mean, that only happened once. Another time he came back and we were totally still here.
Such a very quick answer.
You just sort of remembered something? Tell me more.
Feel fine.
You're not. Well, you're fine in the sense that you're alive and you're not in the clutches of a evil
Oh.
woman. But
Well, that is fine then, I suppose.
yeah, I'm sorry. Can I get? I don't know if I got your name. Crass. I'm Diantha. It's nice to meet you. You are on our ship. We took you out of that horrible place, Hive. And the matriarch is dead, and that entire colony has exploded.
As you just unload all this information on him, he just starts like a computer backlogging, be like, "Oh, what the fuck?" He's like, "Well, she's like,
Happened twice at once with the Ouija game? Oh, never mind then. Oh, whoops.
dead."
I'm gonna go up. And
It's
I'm
good draw today that the conversation got
I'm
deep.
gonna-
Yeah.
It's true, craps. And I'm gonna mind meld with him.
Okay. Anything you need to do for that, or is it just thematic thing?
I don't, it says when performing a role when using a psionic power, step down highest die to add any
yes,
character's
yes.
willpower to your
You
die.
don't need to worry about this right now. You're not making an attack.
Oh, okay,
It's just
perfect. So it's just
an encounter thing.
So yeah, so I'm gonna touch and I'm gonna basically project everything that happened from us landing, all of the substance.
Listen to the orphan's abandonment issues that I can't imagine
I'll
why.
flip it and
That's
just
so funny.
pull out of his whatever the
Respectfully funny.
equivalent of it nose would be for rolls,
That's fine.
and just kind of comes to again and what Cliptic, you're pretty set on doing this,
Oh yeah.
so you don't notice this too much, or at least don't think anything of it. Greg and Diantha, as soon as Crass sees Cliptic, there is an immense amount of fear that crawls across Crass's face. And he tries to fight against the restraints on the table, and then as soon as Cliptic does the mind melding thing, the body just and then goes back to like trying to break out of that.
While he's
that
still
again.
trying to do that, I'm gonna take a cloth and try to wipe away the blood. I'm gonna look like I'm being very sincere and gentle, but it's taking me a lot of restraint.
We're gonna get something we're gonna get your rolls. Like you said,
No, I'll let this thing kind of happen. It's fine. I'm
you need to make a social check.
What do I need for that?
Willpower and some kind of social skill.
Oh, I have a stress and willpower.
If I would love to try and understand what the relationship is.
Intimidation.
You're intimidating
No,
him?
no.
I don't know if I would call this intimidating.
Interrogation?
Are you interrogating him?
This is a prisoner.
Yeah, but you're. What's the point of
think we're
gesturing to
helping
try and
him.
clean his face?
Yeah.
It's an intimidating one.
What?
You are intimidating him?
What's this one?
Intuition?
Call bullshit on that one.
So that's being
It's gotta
able
be
to
based
read
social
him
check.
and know what he
What it is.
wants and
It's up.
needs.
It's up
To be
to.
Wait, you trying to be scary?
He did do a dirty in my past for sure. How about concentration? Can I do that? No, can't do concentration.
This is a social gesture. You know, why are you trying to clear away the blood on his nose? What's the point?
This is a very complicated thing for my character
Yeah.
because we were friends at one point, but then there was a big betrayal.
Yeah.
But this is the first person out of my past that has shown up in a very long time.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure.
How about
Just
influence?
Influence?
Yeah, just roll the d6.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is your intuition die, Diantha?
Intuition?
That would
I
be
don't
under perception, I think.
have deduction, not intuition. Not intuition.
Okay, so a d6. Gotcha. Okay. Roll that for me, please. You.
I don't have 2 dice for this.
Really?
You don't have any social or any distinctions that would help with this?
I have for friends defending. I have passive aggressive, silent but deadly, and then comforting. And I'm not
Passive aggressive.
passive aggressive.
Add
Yeah,
D8 to this. This is
Okay.
switch to passive aggressive.
that's a 1. So, 74.
Is it funny when it happens?
So you want?
Is it?
Cool.
Okay.
Even with the 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not gonna use that right now. So going up and with that, with your passive ability there, the skill on that, you get this. There is a history here. Krast is terrified of Cliptic. Is not mistaking Cliptic for somebody else.
It is clipstick.
The Cliptic causes discomfort.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep an eye on it.
I'm gonna get some dramatic music because you know, Cliptic being seen as mean. I feel like there should be something there for that. It's a good song for something else. I like it. We're gonna use this one. Okay, we're gonna do AI music mixer. No. Turn that off. Go away. No, I made a mistake. Turn it off. Okay. Adjust. Analyze that shit. Analyzing. Live trim. Cool. Let's just say it goes for, I don't know, that long. Let's do this. Sure.
No, I'm not gonna.
Okay. You clean away the blood. He slows in terms of like instead of struggling because it's clearly futile, but he does kind of stay as far leaned away as possible, and the breathing is still hyperventilating.
I'd imagine it would be. Yeah.
As if like just ready to fight you with whatever is capable of.
Realizing we need information.
Do it.
Probably
Do
the
it.
one.
Do it.
I'm gonna get up and I'm just gonna push you towards to sit down, and then I'm just gonna stand back and watch the situation.
Are you staying here, Greg?
Greg's probably stepped to the side, and he's now resting because his head's kind of a little bit bigger than the rest of him, you know, probably heady. He's standing with his head on a stool because he's tired. And he's awake and he's paying attention, but he's standing with his head on a stool.
I am gonna say one thing, and I know it's probably a stupid small little thing, but I've removed the scarf before I went and touched Krast, because so far that scarf in Cliptic's head is a different personality to the one that he's presenting.
Yeah.
This is worse.
Yeah.
So,
What have you done?
What have
I've
you done?
broken you.
Yeah, so I've removed the
Okay.
scarf for sure.
I'm the breaker.
Oh my god. Alright. Yeah, you're up.
Do you need that stool right now?
Just like
Greg's like, and he takes both of his hands and he puts them under his head like he's lifting his head with his hands on one side, and then he like kind of wobbles over to like a different chair or a lower table and
Countertop.
puts his head down again.
Great. I'll put the
Let's
stool
go.
over
Bonk.
and then just seat so I'm a little bit more level with him.
Okay.
Krast, I can assume you probably have some kind of past relationship with our friend Cliptic. Would you be able to share more about that with me?
Why are you working with him?
I don't claim to know much about your past or Cliptic's past, but I do happen to know that the matriarch
back
is
to being a super
horrible,
goof.
horrible person who makes other people do very horrible things.
That's correct. No character limit emojis.
Yes, we agree. is a murderer.
Cliptic murdered the matriarch.
Well, I suppose good can be done without a conscience.
So it's funny you brought that question up there, EJ, because that's actually it's a main theme of this episode is good death versus bad death.
Perhaps then in this moment, in this situation, we can think of this as more of a the enemy of my enemy is my friend situation.
Roll me a social check. Yeah, whatever you think is relevant in this situation here.
I'll leave the timing up to you, Zach, but whenever we're done making coffee, we're going to
You're
head
gonna come
towards
on
it.
in?
Oh yeah, we're gonna come back.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah, what's up?
Sorry, clarification.
Yeah.
He thinks that I've just murdered the matriarch, right?
I don't know. There's something else going on
Just
here.
apparently that I don't know. Okay.
Bye.
You just found out about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is correct.
I am
That's a 1. So 7d4 is your difficulty.
leadership here. Let's see.
You should have a good set of dice for this.
So this is I can use this new ability, right?
Yeah, you can if you want.
Social.
You can also, I suspect you're good enough at this if you just wanted to void the roll and
Oh.
automatically succeed. I rolled shitty enough. You
Okay.
could just
Sure. We'll
you
do
could
that.
just pass through this.
Great, we'll do
Yeah.
that. Great.
Him.
That's a 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Bye.
just found out about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's correct.
I am
Okay.
Don't need that. Damn, I was all on my page. Balls.
I don't know. There's something else going on
Just
here.
apparently that I don't know. Okay.
Bye.
You just found out about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all I really want from you is I want to know what your experience was, where we found you, why you were not influenced like all of the other creatures on that ship.
Oh, there was a pecking order. I would have been next if the cast had failed. I was put to work in other ways. If I answer your questions, can I leave?
You're free to, but where do you think you would go?
Away from here.
He kind of like gives like a sort of glance to Cliptic when he says that. At that point, the door will open up and you'll see.
Door.
From here.
He kind of like gives like a sort of glance to Cliptic when he says that. At that point, the door will open up and you'll see a very like these dark purple bags with a garbage bin filled with coffee. Don't know how it happened, but here we are.
And a mug
I
of
thought it was
tea.
gonna be
pale.
vomit, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And then I've just passed the mug of tea over to Cliptic. And I look at Dan and go, oh, I don't know what you like.
I had nothing. Onwards.
Yeah, that tracks.
When you
and
pass
in front
me
of
the
her
tea,
is Flinch as well. Also.
when you pass me the tea, I immediately put it off to the side.
Ooh.
Clippy's real tired.
And I've got a mug, but it's got the same patch. I just got sort of glued onto the mug.
See,
Yes,
Good.
yes.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh.
Okay.
oh, excuse me.
Oh, it's awake. He's awake. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's another bug, yeah?
Yeah. Welcome to this discussion. You're not a prisoner here. We don't want to keep you.
We already have a bug.
Yeah, but I mean, why do we have them?
Because we saw somebody in the clutches of an evil matriarch,
Yeah.
and before we blew up the planet,
Nah,
probably for the
we
best
did
that we
that.
take anyone who's willing with
So
us.
wants to join us? And we can
I don't
always-
think so. I think this is a matter of the more information that
You've
we have.
predicted the future in the game.
Drop him off at the mall.
Tell me how so.
We don't need. He knows a lot.
I don't know if you're in a
We're pretty-
condition to be let out just yet. we probably want to make sure that you're a little bit more healed before you go.
We're doing some pretty clandestine, timey-wimey stuff, right?
It's true. He shouldn't know about it.
Yeah, we just need, you let him know about the matriarch situation.
Yes.
Yes.
And he believes us?
Yes.
Even after.
You
He's not being
you get the
rash,
sense
no.
he's
not being rash.
lying to himself. Yeah, he's not being rash. That's very much better way to put it. He's not being rational in regards to that.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. No. She's real dead.
Regardless of the nature of
Play
it.
the sound.
We're not right now. The time is not. We need to have some lessons on like understanding the moment and knowing at what point things are the right, and when it's maybe time to wait to save it. We'll work on it. In the meantime, all we want to know is what you know of the matriarch.
Nice.
And goals.
I wasn't privy. I'm just a mechanic. I just build things.
What were you building?
You got a friend.
Horrible things.
Oh, yeah, you really got a friend.
Yeah.
I pointed Flinch.
So
You go on.
I interrupt and I jump in. I move forward when he says he's a mechanic in that place, and it was horrible.
Crazy.
Like,
crazy. Good for you.
that
Also, pattern
tech,
recognition.
that bio stuff.
Yes.
You helped build that?
Yes.
Oh, I have so many questions. I have so many questions.
Consider
Ah,
just being sensitive about it.
sensitive, but I mean, your technological know-how is off the charts. And I mean, if Clippy 2 was here, I'm sure they would understand, but we're just...
There's another
No. It's not. No.
There is.
Why is he tied up?
Clippy 1 is like really broomy.
Hey, eyes up here. Just pretend there's one for now.
I mean, he can hear us. But no. What's hey man, it's okay. It's okay. Wait, we got out of that mess. We can work.
Makes you a
together on
tiny little
this.
bit concerned. Why would you be concerned about that?
Broody McBruderson?
I mean, the restraints.
I mean,
from
the tension is quite palpable between me and Cross.
I don't
just-
think Flinch would see that.
No.
He's just
you're right.
intensely
Yes.
interested in the
No.
mechanics, in
I'm
the
gonna
technology.
kind of interrupt because of the confusion.
Go right ahead.
And I'm going to say,
Who have I murdered?
Other beings. You were.
Oh shit. Well, that's fair.
Your job.
oh yeah. Okay,
Oh,
sorry.
dude, you got paid to murder
yeah,
people?
right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah, dude. Getting paid to murder people.
Hey,
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
not the time.
Yes,
Oh.
sorry. And I'm going
coffee.
to.
Drink your coffee.
I'm not going to justify it because I know exactly what had happened there. But I'm going to look at you, Crass, and be like, fair enough, but I also did not betray my best friend.
But you weren't my best friend anymore. You don't remember doing all of the things that you did.
I remember that my mentor, Tactic, tried to get me out of that, and you betrayed him to the matriarch.
I didn't know he was involved.
In what? You were also a follower of the matriarch. Heavily. Same as me.
None of us were willing. Not
So-
even you.
So then why are you saying I'm a murderer? If I wasn't willing.
Roll me a social check.
Fuck.
If you're getting involved, you're rolling social checks.
But we can
motherfucker.
use this. When with your team, step down any dice, and your
Yes.
the bonus die given will be stepped up.
Yeah. If you want to roll something to give them a social die.
Oh.
Actually, to keep it simple,
Just give.
yeah, you have
him
what's
one
the
of my-
highest social die that you'd be giving?
Probably leadership D10.
D10, wow,
D12.
that's. Oh, what?
Because it stepped up.
Oh,
Step it up.
And
I'm not gonna get you to roll, then have you roll. Just
Okay.
take the D12.
while you're getting your dice never together, Flinch sort of looks up at Laurel and is just like, oh, this sounds like trauma stuff. Ugh.
You don't have that, do you?
Am I doing
No.
first or you?
So,
And I like
I kind of like after saying that, I look over to where I'm assuming Tim is also in the room. It's like just nod as if like
there's no
Flinch doesn't have trauma, neither do you.
As this kind of gets intense, Tim goes, I have work to do. That's a 64.
64?
He is not in a position to.
Ooh.
Fucking hell.
Well, no. Make
but
it a
like-
critical. Yeah, 16d8.
But that would be using
Yeah, but you don't need.
plot point?
Yeah,
No,
but
no, don't
go for the
bother.
critical.
Okay,
Yeah.
alright.
So 16d.
So 16d8.
We can cut out this bit here. Don't need to have that conversation.
Sure, please step it up.
Laurel is just like, oh, this sounds like trauma stuff. Ugh.
You don't have that, do you?
Am I-
You have trauma, neither do you.
Tim goes, I have work to do. That's a 64.
That's
64.
Oh, a 64?
Yeah.
So don't
Yeah,
spin a couple.
crush
okay?
'em.
So you get a hero dice.
Oh no, cats!
The D12 hero deck.
Okay.
Does anyone have it already?
No, D8. D8.
D8, sorry. D8 hero deck, not D12. Sorry.
I don't have any hero dice.
You-
There you
You're
go.
critical
Cats
to
know.
twice.
Cats know shit.
Wow.
You get the sense that the perspective that he's putting on it is the last time you'd seen Tactic. Like, what does Cryptic define as the last time you'd seen Tactic?
Probably Tactic trying to tell me to leave.
So not the monstrosity you saw.
No, but cats. Sanitary alone.
Sorry, yes, the monster. Sorry, I thought you were talking about historically.
No, that's what I mean. But like, what
do you
does
consider?
Cryptic define as the last time he saw Tactic?
Would be, yes, as the monstrosity that became.
So as you're having the conversation and he kind of looks at you in that way, you get the sense that he's connected you the same way.
Oh.
The last time he saw you, you had done something in his mind truly vile and
Oh,
sees
okay.
Tactic the same way as you. Matriarch even said that you were being primed to be that, and because you left, Tactic took your place.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay.
You get the sense there might be some actions that you had taken that you don't remember.
That's probably, yeah, that's very quite possible.
Even though you have done some horrible things you do remember.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
But that's where you get the understanding where he's trying to find words for it. But there is also an innate telepathic connection that can happen as you're communicating at the same time. So a bit of that conversation kind of happens passively in that way, where he's with such a high roll, he does begin to relax and is beginning to accept that you presently might not be that thing.
Okay, fair enough.
But that doesn't change how he first saw you in the room.
Right. No, that's fair enough.
Right.
Okay.
You're a boogeyman.
After that exchange, I'm gonna back off because if I stress him out too much, I'm afraid that we're not gonna get anything from this conversation.
Yeah, the other issue with that benefit is that you totally dealt him 10 points of strain damage. So
Oh, did I?
well, that's how social checks work. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're correct. He will be illegible to talk to after so much damage.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'm gonna back off then. Yeah.
So, like, he's scared of you because of stuff you did way back when, but, like, the matriarch was in your brain then, right?
Yes.
Trauma. Ugh.
Do you remember that?
I believe I've already told all of you in the
You did,
past that I
okay.
was a
Well-
mind breaker, a torturer.
But the guy we saw, he didn't look like he knew what he was doing.
The guy we saw.
In the pod thing.
Oh, that was Tactic.
Oh shit.
That was my mentor.
I'm sorry, dude.
And unfortunately, the price was paid that I was freed, and he was not.
Yeah.
I don't know, because he didn't look. Would that have been what you were like?
Yeah, like, how monstrous
So-
were you?
I was monstrous enough that I had killed for the matriarch.
Yeah, well, we knew
With
that.
well, yes, but
Your mind powers.
But the thing I think that I'm having trouble with was
Laurel's awesome.
for tactic. I don't think he had his mind at all. Like, I think it was fully broken, reprogrammed is the only word I can think of.
He didn't look like he knew anything that was happening.
No, I don't think he did. Am I correct in that?
That's a nice wish.
You would have to make a mental resilience check to look back into your torture memory.
Oh, I don't think I can do that at this point.
So if you want to psychoanalyze your memory, you could.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why I feel like that's a nice wish.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, but I'm surprised that Krass is also still alive, to be honest with you. He was the only one I recognized that was from the past. There was nobody else.
You didn't really get a chance to look at
No.
all of the people that were there.
Yeah.
There's
Okay,
tons.
that's fair.
But the way that your friends describe having found him is unique.
Mhm.
He had not been assimilated in any form. He was rigged up to some devices out of gurney in a separate
Yeah.
medical chamber. There was something else going on with him. He was being kept alive and fed for different reasons.
Okay.
He was like a backup.
Yeah.
He describes himself as a backup, but also just from the conversation we've had with him is that his interim function until he needed to be used as a backup to the brain battery was as a mechanic for something.
Okay.
So as I asked before, what were you building?
Organic technology. I studied a lot of Zavodian weapons, ships, a lot of unique defenses for Zavodian capital ships. Matriarch used them for barter and favor.
What do you know of the matriarch in Jobak?
That name is familiar. I think many of my designs were for him.
For
Oh.
Jobak.
Yeah.
The matriarch was building things for Jobak. Through
Yeah.
you.
We need to talk schematics.
If you
He
are able to give Flinch here some of the schematics and the specs of those ships and those weapons, we took down the matriarch because we're taking down Jovak. You said they're horrible things. We can find ways to destroy them.
Yeah, you used your mind, forced to create horrible things, and now you get to choose to use your mind to help take them back apart again.
I mean, he kind of looks perplexingly at Cliptic and is like sizing you up in the sense of you're in on this plan.
So, I realized that there's been a lot of fucking interaction between you and me. And so, to try and calm myself down, because right now I'm a little ball of rage, I actually go back and I actually put the scarf back on to calm myself.
Aww.
Oh.
Aww.
And then I go over, and then I am actually genuinely going to be caring. And I'm going to, oh god, my
Excuse me.
character's going to say something along the lines of, we've both been monsters of our time. It is now our chance to make things right.
I will allow you
Okay?
to make the social check with your medical skill
Okay.
and Diantha's D12. As she's still in the room, kind of guiding us.
Like my general medical skill?
Like for you have first aid?
I have first aid, yeah, D8.
You can use first aid. You're going up. It's first aid sort of thing, right? Like you're taking.
And
care
is
of
that intelligence kind of thing, or would that be?
intelligence?
It would be intelligence.
His dice are going to go up as he's kind of becoming more consciously aware of things.
And I'm gonna do that 1, 2.
Your difficulty's a 13d8.
Don't forget the D12.
Oh right, I have that as well.
And a d6 because this is a medical check in your
And-
medical bag.
Right. Okay. And I am gonna use Om is where the heart is, which is a comforting.
Nope.
Time.
Hmm.
1/1. But I can do a 16 d12.
Hey!
So
Holy shit. Okay.
Still here, I'm not sleepy. You're sleepy. Shh. Yeah.
For the first time
Sure.
you've been talking with him, the hyperventilating ceases.
Okay.
And you get the idea that he might actually view you, at least
That's
in
fair.
this particular moment, as a peer and not a fear.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to start to release him from the gurney.
Jill watches Cliptic starts pulling off the cuffs. And he very, very, very slowly takes the hands up, and he does not seem to jump out of the gurney in any way.
Okay.
The D12 effect die and the 3 extra points of social damage that's accrued from that is enough to basically he's where now that you've released him, technically this would just make him not want to talk anymore. Now he's just he's gonna sit up and just is
Let's fight to the shower.
but is
That's
not
fair. Yeah, that's reasonable.
rejecting of
Okay.
saying things. Does that make sense?
I pull a meal replacement bar out of my pocket and I hold it out to him. I brought it for me, but I'm still feeling nauseous.
I'll take my mug and I dip it in your pocket. Take
Oh my god.
Take it.
Yeah.
It's strong fucking coffee. There might be motor oil in it.
How big?
That's how I like it.
How big is the pail bucket of?
Like a garbage bag, right? It's like a
Is
garbage
it?
can.
So it's like laurel pail.
That's a
size.
laurel pail.
Okay.
It's like Oscar the Grouch being carried.
Greg's gonna be like,
Laurel. Yep.
Can I have some coffee?
Don't swim in it.
Don't stick your gravy rag in it.
No, I won't do that. I promise. Okay.
you can just put it down because I'm short.
Put it down.
Okay, I'll put the gravy rag on the floor, and then I'll get in the pail.
I said don't swim in it.
So that I'm not swimming. It's not big enough for me to swim.
Just sits.
I just sit. I'm up to my neck. The gravy rag is not in the coffee.
Aw.
Let's say it's cooled off enough. Yeah. Let's
Yeah, it has. We've been stirring it.
Correct. Jesus.
Oh, you need
Then
to.
he scarfs down the bar.
I mean, I suppose, yeah. Wait. Do it
And
afterwards.
grab Cliptic's abandoned tape. Sorry.
That's fair.
Yeah, yeah.
If you,
This is a great font of information.
yeah, if you have the ability to give us any of those information, those schematics, we'd be happy to drop you off wherever you want.
I can try. I don't have any paperwork on me. It's all in my head.
Well, no, we can go to the engineering bay, and there's me, and there's Tommy Tim, and we can.
Tim.
Yeah, it's a fantastic mechanic as well, and has a different thought process than me, and we can work together on this.
You will also need someone with medical knowledge. This is not a mechanic job.
I
It immediately looks at Flinch. Immediately looks at Greg.
No.
if you are willing to work with me, I can help translate information and fill in gaps.
Well, I mean, it's fine because it's Clippy too. Clippy one's a bit too broody. It brings the mood down. But Clippy 2 works out really well.
Cliptic has his hands in his head in his hands.
It's psychological. Just don't ask any questions.
Yeah.
So it's just his psychological regards to Cliptic. He goes,
The scarf, man.
Yeah. Cliptic's gonna have his head in his hands being like, oh, this has backfired drastically.
Clippy 2's just nicer.
A new.
As it were.
And you know what? As soon as I hear that, I'm gonna go, a new start. And just look at you.
Only if he is in the room.
Of course.
My God, somebody wants me around.
Right? That's so weird.
Yeah,
Is
okay.
there a reason why I shouldn't?
Oh, he
No,
smells
I'm
funny.
lovable.
And like he might.
Starts doing a little stretch in the shoulders.
Christ.
No. It's you know, as you know, you're a mechanic, and the engineering mindset sometimes it can be off-putting to people.
Biomechanic, actually.
Yeah, which is fantastic. Mechanic, biomechanic, bio, perfect.
What's Tim?
Tim?
Yeah.
Assistant.
I thought the word was awesome.
Yeah, yes, Tim. Fantastic. Awesome. Yes.
Understand.
If we can't understand it, Tim will.
Okay.
Well, I don't.
We can also use Greg as backup medical. You're really good at some things I remember you talking about before in your bucket of coffee. Aren't you good at, like, what's the word?
Surgery.
Yeah.
Surgery?
Everyone's just,
What?
yeah, like, but biosurgery stuff as well. Like, aren't you really good at? Is it just regular surgery, or is it?
I mean, technically, I'm only so at this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Fuck off.
Oh my God.
Well, Flinch is just trying to.
SCW.
Yes, it's written right there.
That's also at the
Yeah,
I have a
but
D8 in surgery.
Flinch is just trying to include Greg.
Yeah.
He always
Nice
tries
of
to
you.
include
That's
Greg.
very nice.
Can we go to a bigger room?
I think we all need a bit of a rest, to be honest.
You start hearing a soft snoring. And Greg's head has officially fallen back, his mouth's open, and he's asleep in the pail of coffee.
He's gonna drown in there.
Laurel just reaches in, pulls him out, lets him drip off, and do we have more?
Hangs
We
him
have
up on
only
the
we have
shelf.
only one bed in here, right?
Yeah.
I just sort of set some on the
Code
floor.
hook on the back of the door.
No, I just set some on the floor next to the coffee. So he's in a little puddle.
That's fine.
I take the gravy rag and just lay it over. him
Now
like
that
a
I've had my
little
Switch for a week,
blanket.
what do I think? I love it.
Just stretch it out and just.
He does not
Now,
wake up during.
I played it a shit ton this week, but I think that has a lot to do with the fact that I wasn't the one driving to and from Calgary this weekend. Liz is doing all the driving this time, so I got to play a lot. But I love it. It's a fantastic toy. It's great. Yeah. Anyway, I played so much Mario Kart World. Yeah, something to say about just grabbing a gadget and it just plays 4K 60.
It stains so bad.
And the new Joy-Cons are so fidgety.
He smells better than he usually does.
I don't want him to drown.
I don't want
It's a real stupid way
Grass
to
by
die.
himself, though. If we're all gonna go for a rest, somebody's gotta stay with him. But he doesn't
I'll
want me.
stay. I'll stay.
Okay, no second.
You
We'll,
look
with that
tired.
logistic out of the way, we'll just kind of crash cut to the next morning.
Okay.
You all may heal one wound.
Thank God.
Yay.
Okay,
Need
yes.
rest, yeah.
And anyone who has a poisoning,
Me.
drop it down by one. If it's a D6, it's gone. Me.
You're still poisoned.
I'm still poisoned.
Oh, you're gonna be like this for days. At least one more day, if not two. You're D8.
Where are you down?
Now I am.
Fuck.
You're a 4? I probably should be a 4 too, shouldn't I?
Once it's four,
You
it's
guys were at the same.
That was it?
yeah.
Yeah, both of you were the same. It was only.
Now I was higher.
Yeah, this one has a real issue.
Because
goose
Vril
egg.
and Zathians, then Zenek, the undead,
What? Oh,
Zevodians.
Zavodians.
Zavodians,
Zavodian
Zavodians
rum.
are very diametrically opposed. So everything that they make has a bigger effect on us, and that's how I'm justifying it.
Zuzu pedals.
Yeah, definitely not the head injury at the same time.
I
Well, that hell,
I
didn't
know
help.
if they were like undead, I went all over that. I'd love playing undead. That'd be so fun.
Speaking of the undead, because way back when, the first time we encountered the Seven,
Mhm.
we were on a ship. We boarded a ship. It was manned by undead.
Playing undead. That'd be so fun.
Speaking of the undead, because way
Justifying it.
Zuzu pedals.
Very diametrically opposed. The undead.
What? Oh,
Zavodians.
Zavodians.
The
Zavodian
Zavodians
rum.
are very diametrically opposed. So everything that
we boarded a ship, it was manned by undead. Folk,
It was.
wasn't
A significant component.
I mean, could buy it, yeah, and play it on the Switch. I've just transferred my entire Switch over, and I've just been playing I've been trying to get further in Zelda, all that good stuff. Gonna go to bed, probably could stay awake. I don't want to destroy your sleep schedule. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm gonna be out of here in like 8 minutes, regardless of where this is at, because I probably should be. So that's fair. But yeah, I mean, if you could afford it, Night's Wish. Yeah, you could play your game on it. I mean, really, what's stopping you, other than the fact that it's expensive? So but I think it's great. Most games have had a natural update. So, for example, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet naturally run better on it. No updates needed. They just now run so much better. So it is a noticeable improvement to performance to a lot of the games on it.
Of the Seven's forces are Zavodian.
Or Zavodian, yeah.
In fact,
So one of the things that, so I'm gonna kind of,
Yeah, both of you were the same. It was only.
No, it was higher.
yeah, this one has a real issue. Laurel.
Because
goose
Vril
egg.
and Zathians, the undead,
What? Oh, Zavodians.
Zavodians,
Zavodian
Zavodians
Rome.
are very
I'll stay. I'll stay.
Okay, no second.
We'll, with that logistic out of the way, we'll just kind of crash cut to the next morning.
Okay.
And
me.
drop it down by 1. If it's a D6, it's gone.
Don't need that little bit in there. I'm just gonna take that out just to clean it up a smidgen.
The undead.
What? Oh,
Zavodians.
Zavodians.
The
Zavodian
Zavodians
Rome.
are very diametrically opposed. So everything.
Yeah, that is one of the downsides. That not a lot of new stuff came out for it on the go. However, keeping in mind that there's a bunch of new games that are coming out for it. Yeah, it's besides that little issue. I can understand waiting until there's more games, but all of the games that currently exist for it have gotten an upgrade inherently on it. So in that regard, it's pretty good.
They make it has a bigger effect on us, and that's how I'm justifying it.
Zuzu pedals.
Yeah, definitely not the head injury at the same time.
I
Well, that helped. It didn't help.
If they were like undead, I would all over that. I'd love playing undead. That'd be so fun.
Speaking of the undead, because way back when, the first time we encountered the Seven, we were on a ship. We boarded a ship. It was manned by undead folk,
It was.
wasn't
A significant component of the Seven's forces are Zavodian.
Or Zavodian, yeah.
In fact, so one of the things that, so I'm gonna kind of take the group and put you back into like a corral of like we're gonna talk out a plan here. Jovac's flagship is Zavodian in build, but it was very unique in its build when you had last seen it. Its capital ship.
Gas made it.
Or help.
Or parts of it, or systems, or something.
Yeah. So getting this information will help
So,
us.
in the mess hall the next day, Christ is cleaned up, sitting there on the table with a lot of you all. And yeah, no, you're on to something there. A lot of the Seven's forces are the technology, particularly Zobac's flagship.
So you are all gonna go work on these schematics then?
Don't have friends to play Mario Kart with.
Yeah, I'm
I
just
mean,
gonna eat a little bit, but I'm just gonna have a little.
don't necessarily need friends to play Mario Kart. The Mario Kart's really, really, really good.
That's
But
a
also,
little feeling.
Fine.
maybe I'll put my friend code on the Discord
There's a
because
ginormous
I'll play with you.
just in the middle.
That Mario Kart is
That's the only
great.
thing that Laurel made for breakfast, but she made a lot of it.
But we thought you were making it for all of us.
Well, it's in the middle of the table, and she's like just taking it
Tim
directly off
slowly
the.
goes to grab one as you growl, and he puts his hand in.
I'm feeling pretty good, but before I do anything, I'm probably gonna take a bath.
And Greg is over next to the counter with a bucket and he's filling it with coffee.
I just finished cleaning the last one. Put a towel down.
We have those.
What have you been using for anything?
Well, I take a shower and then I just sort of like
What is Crass's face?
let myself. I just let
You
myself
filled
dry
it way
off.
too
I know the water stains in the mirror.
One at a time. One at a
Sorry.
time.
All the way to the top. It's
Yeah.
like,
Well,
So you just shake yourself off and you leave the shower?
yeah.
Okay.
What do you do?
I use a towel.
Yes, thank you.
I'm a horrible influence on anyone trying to save money. Literally, for the conversation I had with Rob this week,
Edit this out now.
I'm really good at making people want to spend money. It's bad.
Yeah.
Sounds like a zit.
Yep.
Exactly.
Great.
Are you sure that it's not a very large zit?
She was a very large zit. Right.
No.
I'd tell you the story, man, but like, there's 3 of you, and it's making me dizzy.
There is 3 of me and 2 of you. Are you all in need of ocular implants, aids, visual aids?
Tink, tink,
You seem to be fine. How many fingers am I holding up?
tink.
I take it back.
Is it really a finger?
And
Well,
you
that's very bugsy of you.
you just hear off to the side.
Yeah. See, that's my mentality on it. If it's not there and you can't get it, that's life telling you not to get it. If it's there,
Going on.
that's life being like, buy me.
Crass a cup of tea, and I'm gonna say things have changed quite a lot since the last time we met.
Clearly, and then he just.
So before we start working on all the schematics and stuff, we do need a plan of what we're looking for.
Yeah, that's what she was saying.
Yeah. I don't think she did. But when we go to Kairos, is it that we need to keep everything as similar as possible to when we went there the last time?
You need to replicate everything as identically as possible.
Okay. Was that what it was?
The benefit to this is that you didn't really pay much attention to what there was. You only know the following things. The specifics of which you don't know. But you knew that there was a Canastian air wing.
Mm-hmm.
You knew that you had seen a large army in conflict with the Seven.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty sure you had seen the following 2 vessels and assorted vehicles as well. You had seen the Heap.
Yeah.
And you had seen Purgatory.
Oh yeah, weird.
The station is able to move. It has warp capabilities. It just tends to live on the edge of pirate space.
How did we get Purgatory there last time?
We didn't.
They just showed up.
They just showed up. We need to make sure they show up.
We need to go to Purgatory.
We gotta go. How long before Jovak escapes?
One day.
Today.
Oh, is it? Fuck, yeah.
You spent all yesterday talking to Crass.
That's right.
Today.
And how long would it take to get to Purgatory?
So did we get Purgatory there, or did Jovak take control of Purgatory and get it there?
Oh, I thought he escaped off
He
of
escaped
Purgatory.
off. He got off onto an undead ship.
Yeah.
So we have to get Purgatory there ourselves.
Unless we leave it to chance, but I don't really like the sounds of that.
No.
I mean, we all heard about how you were gambling.
Chance doesn't like me.
No.
The warden should
not-
still be on Purgatory, right?
No, you took him. Your past selves took him with you.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, where is the warden?
Is
Where-
he on-
where-
we didn't
Where
leave,
is the warden?
Didn't we leave him
We
with,
left him somewhere.
with the captain?
I was gonna say. I think that your other selves took him with them.
Yeah. Yeah, we did
That's
get.
what we're gonna say happened.
No, but we did because he gave me his pistol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and then we had that little moment, me and the warden, we were hanging around doing stuff for a time period. Yes. So our previous selves does that. So if the warden,
Stop it, Yaga.
but if the warden wasn't the, and the
But also-
Purgatory came and was on our side during that battle.
Good lord.
Looked like.
Okay, so if
Again, it's not a lot of specifics you have.
yeah. But so if the warden, our old selves took the warden, then the warden wasn't there to command Purgatory to be here.
Nope.
And as far as I know, Creepy Crypt Creeper died. I mean, we should shed a tear and hold up a glass. What a fantastic individual that was. Because I was still the one who loved the Creepy Crypt Creeper.
We need to get that there. and
I
then-
am a creeper.
Well, we can't take this ship there, because we would recognize when we see our own ship. Now, when we didn't see our own ship,
Well, no, we
and the Canastians are going to see the meteors show up and help it, so there can't be 2 meteors there. So if we fly either the Heap or Purgatory, then we can be there and get the ship there at the same time.
I'm not entirely sure, yeah. Ugh.
either way, we need to go to Purgatory.
Yeah.
So we don't have to be there on the meteor, but we do have to be there on the heap.
On the,
Well, we kind of
Where
want to
would-
be there, right?
It's going to get confusing.
For the first time, did we see a ship that we would now recognize as the meteor?
Because we were in the meteor.
Yeah, our old selves were in the meteor who came
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
The easiest answer is if you wait a couple hours, you'll miss yourselves. You don't got to worry about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We
yeah,
need
yeah.
to wait
Yeah,
until
yeah.
all of that happens,
Yes.
then we go
Yeah,
to
yeah,
make
yeah.
sure Purgatory comes.
Okay.
Okay.
Our Lord, Purgatory coming.
Purgatory gets to Kairos.
because we need to go there to make sure it happens
Well,
after
if-
we.
So the warden is gone.
Yeah.
Right. By the time we get there, after the 2 hours, right? Because we took the warden
Yep.
with us. So who's in charge of Purgatory after?
Probably us.
I just be keeping it
We go
simple.
there and
They're
we say
they're
hi,
overcomplicating it
no,
as
yeah.
players tend to do. It's pretty easy.
There.
But then who's operating Purgatory in the fight?
But we don't know until we
Us.
get there
Oh.
hours after.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then who's
all the
Also, they're asking a bunch of questions that don't matter. They're like, who's doing this? Who's doing that? You don't know. Just go and do the thing. You'll find
command
out.
structure that you were aware of was destroyed in the escape, and then you just kind of left because you had bigger problems.
Yeah.
But it was not your your fish to fry.
But we do need purgatory to get there if we want to keep it
If
as
we
such.
pilot Purgatory,
Could be very
which will
messy.
Be there, well, also not being in our ship. Our ship can be on
Oh,
board
that's
the
true, because our
Purgatory.
old ship is still going to be there to do stuff,
Yeah,
so we can't
if,
be there
if
to do
we
stuff.
bring Purgatory here, if we somehow take control of it and pilot it, then Purgatory will be there. Our ship will not be visible because the other meteor will be visible. We should be the ones to take Purgatory here.
unless there's someone else who can do it.
Either way, we need
Greg,
to go with
I
Purgatory.
need you to grab your willpower die. Any other dice that you may think are associated with your timey-wimey Omega
Yeah.
Greg self.
Right.
Hmm?
Your
You're
Uber,
talking-
anything that you think is associated with your Uber Greg self.
My Uber, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you have
Any
the
kind
weight
of
of history.
skills or power sets or distinctions that you think would matter with the version of you that went into that box and came out the other end. Because there's some information that only Greg knows. I will accept the knowledge skill in place of anything else.
Could I use
Yeah.
my concentration?
Ain't that the truth? Players don't make it easy.
Is there a distinction that would fit?
Distinction, the cloak.
Instance. That was gross, excuse me.
Hmm.
Just seemed like the thing to do at the time.
Did you do?
Just big old burp.
I burped.
Yeah, I think that's really.
Good. So, Greg.
Yes.
One of the things that you guys are aware of is that your alter self. I will accept the knowledge skill in place of anything else. Greg self.
Right.
Hmm?
Your
You're
Uber,
talking-
anything that you think is associated with your Uber Greg self.
Ooh.
You know,
One of the things
You
that
are allowed to
guys
go
are
to sleep.
aware of is that your alter self, the other ship,
I'll be going to bed
the
pretty
other
soon here.
meteor, is also kind of roaming around. They're here helping out and doing things. They're just
Where
not with you right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can reach out to them.
Mm-hmm.
They have your warden with them. They have a different version of Argus with them. The other two members of the crew, only Greg knows who they are.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Tex and there was a Kovo,
Yeah.
right?
I guess it's fair.
Has Greg told anyone else who they are?
I don't think he has. No.
Is he going? Is he
Sleep
really
just have
saying that?
fantasy life.
Because
I mean,
if he
that's
is,
true.
I'll just say it. If he's not, I'm going to write it down and give it to you.
why would Greg keep it secret?
Well, I think
As a
it's one of
question
those
for
things
Greg.
where it hasn't really come up as a necessity,
Correct.
right? And he's kind of well, is this relevant to the current thing I'm
This
talking
conversation is very relevant.
about? Yeah. So now it would be relevant finally. Yeah, he wouldn't keep it secret. He would just.
Okay. Tex is an older version of Laurel.
Mm-hmm.
The warden is not a name, it's a title.
Yeah.
He's never told anyone his name after he got his title.
Mm-hmm.
His birth name is Kovo.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
And so Kovo is just an older warden.
Oh. Oh.
We need a warden.
You have two.
All right. So Greg just pipes up then and says,
There you go.
Well, I mean, if we need someone who could fly purgatory without issue, well, why don't we just ask the other one?
What other warden?
Yeah. What do you,
And we're
warden
gonna,
is the warden, because Flinch still thinks it's a name.
and our past selves are gonna get him off purgatory and drop him off with Farah.
Yeah, but that's the younger warden. This is the older warden.
Oh, I got that. That's fair. Yeah, you might forget what you're in the middle of doing. Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that makes
Kovo's
sense.
with Kovo was with, Laurel, Tex, Laurel.
Who's Kovo?
What do you mean?
Older warden.
What?
Wait, so this whole time,
We've got. Wait, Kovu is the warden.
he didn't even ask you for the gun back.
Oh no, he's not getting it back either. That's his own fault. That was a gift. We're friends.
I mean, yeah.
And Greg's gonna be like,
You say something about Tex and Laurel?
Oh yeah, we're the same person, but like
I-
from a different timeline.
I
Real confusing.
I mean, I thought it was.
I'm glad there's only one me.
I mean, I thought it was. I mean, I thought it was obvious, but that might be, you know, a
That's what-
box thing.
That's why she wanted to go back and save my mom. Oh wait, you weren't there.
No. You have a mom? Good for you.
No, dude, no.
You don't have a mom?
What?
Not even like biologically?
Oh man, that must be awesome.
You must biologically have a mother.
Well, I mean, I think my species works a little bit differently.
I don't think that works that differently.
His species.
We're not here to talk about my mom, okay?
Touchy, okay, touchy.
What about your mom?
Uh,
See, not everyone wants
My
to talk about their
mom's
mom.
bad. I guess your mom is like the equivalent to like the matriarch. So all of your moms are monsters.
Crass goes. No.
But either way, this is getting. So what we got to do is we got to. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, I just got to step out of role playing for a second.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm.
I'm gonna bring something in here real quick. I think this is worthwhile to have some chill tunes. Analyze that shit. Jesus, Baba Yaga, fuck. Clip tick, technically.
If I'm wrong. I recall when we went to the planet, didn't we see another version of the meteor that was more advanced, or was that a?
It was
We're in the more
already
advanced
on
version
the
now.
yeah.
Yeah, but did our old selves see a more advanced
Yes.
meteor?
There, you swapped ships.
yeah.
That's what it was.
They
Yeah.
took the crappier one and they buggered off with this to keep it safe.
Yeah.
And you have the
that's
more
when
advanced-
we
Yes.
went and brought it back. Okay, so that stuff's already solved.
Yeah.
That's
Hashtag mommy
when
issues.
we brought it to
Yes.
the planet and to
Yeah.
make the timeline go well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, if we get, I guess we just need to get a hold of the. How do we do that though?
the
with
other
that?
meteor?
Yeah, but we don't want to. Yeah, we need to.
Is it in this timeline right now?
Yep.
Yep.
It is her.
Yeah,
Okay.
they
need to get-
went off to do other stuff.
Okay, so we need to go get with them.
Yeah, but we can't. I don't recall our older selves contacting our younger selves.
We're not.
That
no, no.
doesn't mean
This
that we
is
didn't contact
Kobo
just
and Tax and
Kobo and
Farah.
Tax.
And-
Yeah.
Because there's us, and then there's younger us, and then there's alternate us.
So I think there's 3 meteors, maybe.
Yeah, there
There
are.
are 3 meteors roaming around right now.
So
And then
Kobo and Tex
So
are
not-
alternate us.
Oh yeah. So we got to just get a hold of them.
Yes.
To meet up with us at Purgatory,
Yes.
and then the warden, the older warden, can
Take the ship.
Yeah.
take the ship.
And then we have to figure out the heap, which maybe Farah can take, right?
Well, I mean, that would be. Aren't you in good with the heap? Aren't we all in
Yeah,
good
but-
with the heap?
Farah is the person who leads the heap, right?
Was that the one that was ripped in half?
Yeah, well, the heap is destroyed.
Oh.
The heap wasn't destroyed. Farah was
Pharaoh
ripped in
was-
half.
Yeah, Pharaoh was ripped in half.
But also, you have to keep in mind, as much as it's kind of your y'all's home, it's a pirate crew.
It
If
is.
the captain's dead, it's a fucking free for all for the throne.
It is.
Do we have
so we
another
need to do-
Farah?
We do.
We did.
She's hanging out with Tex and Kobo.
So yes, that's what I'm saying. Is that Farah should go to the heap?
Can we fight in a pirate battle? I've always wanted to fight
Hey,
in a pirate
we need to
battle.
contact
I've
the
always
meteor
fought with
to
pirates,
get
but I've never fought
old,
a pirate.
old warden and old Farah to get those 2 vessels to where they need to go. That's
How
what
did
we
mommy
need
issues?
right now.
I treat
Yes.
MILFs real
We're gonna
nice.
say something clippy too.
Well, because
That's so good. I mean, fair.
Yes.
So we could easily get a frequency to go and send a message, could we not, to them?
Yep.
Yeah,
It's the
of course.
same, yeah. So why don't we just do that now?
Let's do that.
Yes, yes, of course. That's what we're talking about, clippy too.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, fantastic.
Listen,
Okay.
I'm just trying to put it because I'm hearing pirate battles and shit.
We don't need to. Well, we need to deal with the Jova. Which do you want to have more? Do you have a pirate battle, or finally deal with Jovac?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. How is it close?
How is this a contest?
And then you just hear, I'm glad you're all finally on board with this. Greg's just lounging with his arms spread out to either side in this bucket of coffee.
I'm
And
never
what-
using that bucket again.
Never. You say it again.
I'm never using that bucket again.
We'll end it there.
Okay.
You say it again.
I'm never using that bucket again.
Okay. So close to being done.
Out to either side in this bucket of coffee.
I'm
And
never
what-
using that bucket again.
Never. You say it again.
I'm never using that bucket again.
And that's where we'll wrap that up. Fantastic. Okay, cool. Well, a little bit over time, but I feel like, there's reasons for that. But I got to get out of this heat pit of a room and cool off and finish building my PC out there. So many doggos and kitties just roaming around. You could pet them. It doesn't let you pet them. And you play this game? Travesty. Travesty. Well, enjoy not petting the animals that's teasing you that are there. All right, but I gotta go. I have so many other things I gotta get done. But I will talk to you on Tuesday and also next Sunday. So have yourself a good evening. Appreciate you hanging out while I occasionally rant about fucking politics and shit these days. What the hell? But yeah, anyway. Just demand a refund. If they put pets in the game and you can't pet them, that is a fucking travesty. But yes. All right. Guten Tag.